on StreamYard now. Here we go. Yeah, I didn't know that. Trying to get with the program here. So,
All right. So, welcome everybody to another episode of Metalheads Unite.
Saturday. Hell
So,
yeah.
got kind of a lot to talk about, I guess, today. So,
Which is never a bad thing.
no,
Never a bad thing.
not too much on birthdays this week, but I think everything else to try to make up for it. But do got a lot of stuff in the works for next year. That's kind of what we had a meeting, as you could say, a meeting last night. As our meetings are usually around a campfire with
right. Yeah. I was about to say our meetings don't involve like boardrooms or anything like that. It just literally just hanging out and lighting shit on fire. So yeah, as all should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff ironed out last night. So hopefully, I don't want to jump ahead of myself. So I'm gonna wait till everything's actually in motion before I mention exactly what's going on. But there are some stuff churning for next year. So
yeah,
pretty excited about. So
yeah, me too. 2023 is going to be looking. I'm really. Of course, I look forward to the show every week, but I'm looking forward to, all that big picture shit down the road. I'm really looking forward to that. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, most definitely. So, like I said, one step at a time. So we got
right.
Like I said, we got. I will say this: we do have plans on doing a radio program sometime midweek next year. So where we actually play music. So So that's actually one of the things we wanted to coincide with the show. That way you guys don't have to, if you're Spotify listeners or whatever, you don't have to pay to listen or whatever, they try to get you to do. But
right.
But yeah. So unfortunately, we have to. Subscribe to do some of the things that we do. So
actually,
without the subscription, we couldn't do some of those things. So,
but it hasn't been that bad. But no, it's not super expensive, and it's kind of worth it not to have to listen to 3 minutes worth of commercials after listening to two fucking songs.
Right? Yeah.
Jesus Christ, it's ridiculous. I remember when I first got on Spotify, I was like, man, I'm not paying for that shit. And then like the first 2 weeks of trying to listen to the free shit is like, yeah, I'm gonna pay for I'm paying for free. Like I can't. It's like I felt like I listened to more commercials than songs. It was ridiculous.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what that's what kind of pays their bills. So
yeah,
of course they're gonna have a commercial in there every 5 minutes. Is like So,
it was
I think that stuff is like every 15. I think that's where they get their shit set up. I think I could be wrong, but I think it's set up every 15 minutes. So
it definitely seemed more frequent than that. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then sometimes you could watch a video and get like 30 minutes or 60 minutes of no commercials. But I'm sure they're paying big bucks for that spot.
I'm sure they are. But yeah, if any of you guys out there have been a listener of the show for any length of time, I know that we've spent a lot of time talking about how we've got another show coming, and we're going to be playing music instead of just talking about it. Which so I know that's something that we've mentioned a lot. But we're finally putting all the elements together. So first of the year, that's probably something that's definitely going to be happening. So we're excited about that. That's something that was something that we talked about even before we even started the podcast here. So the fact that we're getting to that point finally is we're pretty excited about it.
Unfortunately, it's going to cut the weekly playlist from Spotify because I won't have time to do both. But we'll still do our top 10 or whatever. But
yeah, absolutely. But I mean, hell, hell, we'll more or less be broadcasting the weekly playlist at that point.
Right.
More or less.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. So
yeah. So
there's no use in doing both. So.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about that is
Well, I think it comes from Spotify. So
well, it comes from Spotify too. But I mean, it'll be, doing it live like that. We'll be able to basically more or less make it an interactive weekly playlist.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be a little more interactive, and if I read it right, according to what that platform, we're not going to give away the platform yet that we're thinking about using for it. But I think people will be able to like call in and, live while we're broadcasting. And so, I mean, we'll be able to do live interactions and take requests and shit like that. So, I mean, we'll be this close to being a fucking full-fledged radio station.
That'd be pretty cool too. But.
Yeah. Turn it up and rip off the knobs. If anybody's phone even has knobs on it anymore, I don't know. But I mean,
well, yeah, that's true too. So.
Of course, that's more for all of the older metalheads. They remember like radios with knobs and shit. So
yeah. I still got one with the little turn thing on it. So.
Well, hell, even hell,
a home stereo.
Yeah. So, yeah. The good old stereo receiver, big ass stereo receiver thing.
And, they don't realize how much they got it made. Now you can just like pop on anything and watch porn. Now we had to like try to focus in on a channel we didn't have. It's all like
you had to watch the scramble. I know, like
Wait, what's he doing? What's he doing?
Yeah, that was either a titty or an elbow.
We don't know yet. We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you kid. Yeah, you damn kids in your Pornhub and all this other shit.
We had to masturbate to our rainbows.
Pretty fucking much. Pretty much. I still get hard to Lucky Charms to this day. It's weird.
Yeah. We get an A for imagination, that's for sure. So.
That's right. Welcome to Metalheads Unite, where we don't talk about metal.
Hey, so before we do get into the metal, I don't know. Have you gotten a chance to watch the Halloween Kills yet, or?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I haven't.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want.
You can if you want to.
Well, I don't want to give a lot away. I just wanted to say that I didn't understand the hate it got because it was. I mean, to me, it was completing a story. So, I mean, you had to tell the story to complete the story.
Right. Well, yeah.
So, so I think that's what everybody's big deal was. It wasn't a lot, wasn't a lot of killing and stuff like in the previous ones. I'm like, well, this is a time lapse too. So, I mean, it's like years later. So, I mean, he's, they're both old and weary and tired, and so it's not going to be like a 1970s fight scene, It's
right.
like, it's given off the impression that they're old, they're tired of fighting each other. Somebody's got to. It was almost like that point where, hey, we've been doing this shit for 40 years. Somebody's got to go,
right?
And that's how it was, and like it had a curveball in it. So I mean, it was like I said, storyline wise, I thought it was great. So I mean, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand the hate it got. So
yeah, well, a couple of my coworkers were talking about it, so I probably know more about it than I should. But well, it's the funny thing is I mean, I'll probably see it at some point, But so it's not a huge deal. But yeah, no, I hadn't seen it yet. But
yeah, I was just wanting to put that out there. I know a lot of people's been hating on it. I didn't get it. I was like, man. It was fine to me, so
yeah. Well, when it comes to movies like that, everybody wants it to be an old-fashioned slasher flick and stuff like that.
Well, we went and watched Black Adam last week too, which was it's been getting a lot of flack too, and I'm just like, one of my friends was posting and dogging it, and I'm like, dude, you do realize they're building up to something bigger. You're not going to get. He was mad because there wasn't a lot of known co-stars in it. I'm like, well, why do you have to have a lot of known co-stars to have a good movie? And I don't understand that. Like that.
Well, and truth be told,
you can't. you can't throw 20 fucking superstars in there like Marvel, and
Right.
expect to because Marvel built up to that point. You know what I mean? It wasn't like Captain America and all them just got through into the Avengers. I mean, there was plenty of movies to build up to the Avengers.
Yeah, there was like a 20-year slow burn to the Avengers, basically.
So that's what I was saying. It's like I don't understand the hate that the Black Adam was getting either, but it's definitely going to be interesting going forward for that franchise for sure. So I think they're doing good. I think DC's doing a lot better than they used to be with movies. So
yeah. I do know that Henry Cavill's coming back as Superman.
Yeah, Superman.
Which is cool. So I know that, but
yeah. So, and it was funny because I seen him do a promo about all that stuff on Instagram. I think it was. I watched that, and Instagram or Twitter one. I seen that, and he was.
I think it was Twitter, but
and he was full beard. He was full beard and stuff, and Susie was just like, "Oh, I wonder why he's got a beard." I was like, "Oh my god, are you seriously asking that question right now?" Like, Witcher 3 is about to come out, so in December. So The Witcher 3, if you haven't watched the video games, he's full beard, gray. So I mean, So I mean, I'm sure that's why he grew the beard out, but because I mean that's been pretty much pretty close to the games. So
yeah.
Anyway, enough talk about movies and stuff. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I didn't understand the hate that those two movies got. I'm just like, wow. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a great build up for Black Adam, and I thought it was a great ending for Halloween. So
yeah.
So anyway. All right, we'll kick into this thing this week. Got a few birthdays here, not a whole lot, but anyway, October 23rd, we had Wurzel, real name Michael Burston, guitarist for Motorhead, who unfortunately passed away in 2011. And we had one of our favorite bassists, Robert Trujillo from Metallica. His birthday was on the 23rd. Now, skip to the 25th. October 25th, we had Glenn Tipton, guitarist for Judas Priest. Matthias Jabs, guitarist for Scorpions. Alex Webster, bassist for Cannibal Corpse. And Neil Fallon, guitarist and singer for Clutch. October 27th, skipping a few days here. I mean, there wasn't nothing there, so that I seen anyway. So skipping to October 27th, we had KK Downing, guitarist for Judas Priest and KK's Priest, and whatever else he's involved in at this point.
Yeah,
it's kind of like these guys, well-known guys get kicked out of bands and they form like 50 damn side projects. So they still can't keep up with Max Cavalera, but
no, Max Cavalera and Mike Portnoy.
Yeah, Mike Portnoy. Adrian Erlandson, drummer for Cradle of Filth. We had Scott Weiland, vocalist for Stone Temple Pilots, and of course Velvet Revolver. He unfortunately passed away in 2015. I included him because Velvet Revolver was a lot harder than Stone Temple Pilots. But
yeah.
Of course, you had Slash in there, so
yeah, that helped.
Yeah. And October 28th. You had Desmond Child, songwriter for Bon Jovi and Aerosmith back in, pretty much if you grew up in the 80s, you know who Desmond Child is. He wrote damn near everything we listened to. So, then you had Dave Weindorf, singer for Monster Magnet, and we had Johnny Hawkins, vocalist for Nothing More. And then today, October 29th, we had Kevin DeBrow, vocalist for Quiet Riot, and unfortunately passed away in 2007. And we had Stephen Sweet, drummer for Warrant. The Sweets of Metal. They probably make a band on their own, just call it the Sweets.
I'm surprised they haven't.
I am too, yeah, but I guess it's because two of them are drummers. So.
Oh well, yeah, there you go. That is true. That's true.
But anyway, those were the birthdays this week. Happy birthday to all of those people. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. Happy birthday to them as well. And like I said, we can't cover every band, so only the ones that report. So
that's true.
And I've actually seen a few that wasn't reported on a site or either site, and I actually added them in. So I don't know if they're going to add them like at a point, but I was just like, hey, this I couldn't find this anywhere. If I hadn't been a fan of the band, I wouldn't have known. So.
Right.
But yes, then of course out there, if anybody out there has had a birthday this week, hope you had a happy birthday. And thank you for joining us today. So,
Yep.
All right. So we will go straight into the news of the week.
Yep. Current events. Yeah, and unfortunately, we're back on the train of having to having to lead off with a passing this week. So, I mean, I guess it's good that we've been fortunate enough to not have to talk about one for over a month. But we were under no delusions that streak was going to go on forever. And so unfortunately, over at the PRP.com, leading off this week, Paul Stoddard, known as the vocalist for Boston, Massachusetts metalcore band Diecast, has passed away. His bandmate, drummer Dennis Pavia, issued a following statement on October 24th, quote, "I'm at a complete loss for words and absolutely crushed. You are a bandmate, a friend, a brother. 1,000 band and / tour memories and stories just went through my head in a fraction of a second. And as I am writing this, from recording to traveling all over the place, arguing to laughing hysterically, I'm going to miss you, R.I.P. Paulie," end quote. Stoddard joined the band in 2003, appearing on the band's albums Tearing Down Skies and Internal Revolution. Don't know how old he was. It doesn't say. I tried to do a little bit of digging this morning, trying to look around for a little bit more information. So couldn't really find anything about how old he was. And obviously, not really going to find the cause of death or anything like that.
Well, right.
So, I mean, if I hear anything, I'll let you guys know. But
I wouldn't think that he was that old. I mean,
no, I would
think maybe early 40s, maybe. So
yeah, I was about to say he just by looking at there's a few embedded pictures on Twitter here from from Dave or Dennis rather, who wrote the post on Twitter. And yeah, he looks like he may at worst be right around our age, if that. So yeah. So it's kind of unfortunate there. Oh no, I mean it's not kind of, just definitely unfortunate there. So that sucks. So we hate that, but there it is.
I mean they were formed in '97, so I mean they were they probably are around our age. So
yeah, somewhere around there.
You got to think about the bands that came out around that time with Nonpoint and Seven Dust was around then, so Korn. So all those people are around our age. So you would think he was at least in his early to mid 40s. So that's still way too young to be passed. I mean,
oh, absolutely, God, yeah.
Especially if you want my opinion.
Yeah,
because I'm way too young to go anywhere right now. So
no shit, right?
Of course, we don't always have control of those situations. But all right, my first one is over from Metal Hammer. Guitar manufacturers Gibson have launched a new episode of their Metal and Monster series, and it stars Metallica guitarist Kirk Hammett. The Halloween special is available to watch on YouTube right now. In its first ever Halloween special, Metal and Monsters host Count D, Rob Zombie Band, sits down for an in-depth interview with Metallica guitarist Kirk Hammett to discuss Monsters, metal, and horror memorabilia, says Gibson. Featuring photos from the films that helped shape Kirk's love of horror. Kirk and Count D talk about their love of films, including the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Exorcist, and Nosferatu, which kind of fits into
a little bit of foreshadowing there.
Yeah, a little bit of foreshadowing. Yeah, watch as Kirk discusses making music in Metallica, his new solo album, and his top 10 horror bands of all time. The show also includes a segment called Tunes from the Crypt, in which host Count D revisits Typo Negative's landmark album October Rust. Elsewhere, he goes on a field trip to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios in Hollywood and interviews Anthrax drummer Charlie Benante about the band's 40-year history. In the Halloween special, Hammett talks about the moment he became hooked on horror movies as a child. Quote, "I found a movie called Day of the Triffids," recalls Hammett. "It was the opening scene, and the opening scene is so provocative. From that point on, I was just riveted. And I watched the entire movie, and I thought, this is way better than any of the cartoons and the Disney stuff and the other stuff I had been watching. So that was children's programming, and I just instantly knew that I wanted to experience this kind of story and this sort of scenario with this sort of feeling and emotion," end quote. So that would be a pretty little interesting thing to watch, I guess. So,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It's kind of fitting that Anthrax is also on the show, I guess, since they were part of the Big Four. So.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Definitely a tie in there.
yeah.
All right. Moving over to Blabbermouth for my next one. This again, this was not a passing, but it's also something you never like to hear. Nightwish's Floor Jansen has been diagnosed with breast cancer. The 41-year-old Dutch-born singer revealed her diagnosis in a social media post on Wednesday, October 26th. She wrote, quote, "A letter to you. Life comes in waves with ups and downs. I have had the joy of riding many highs, and I have shared these with you through social media and the many shows worldwide throughout the many years of my career. But now a new wave hit me, not a good one. I have breast cancer. It was diagnosed a little over 2 weeks ago, and I will have surgery tomorrow to remove the tumor. My prognosis is very good. It seems to be a non-aggressive cancer, which seems to not have spread. I will keep my breast, and I will be cancer-free after this surgery, plus a local radiation treatment that will take place 3 months after this surgery, hopefully. We will know more after the surgery to see if this positive prognosis stands. The word cancer is a shocker. All that you found important in life before the diagnosis changes radically within minutes. Now I just want to be healthy again. I want to see my daughter grow into a woman. I want to live. And the scariest part of this diagnosis is that I thought I was healthy. I didn't feel the cancer. I didn't know it was there until I, as a 40-plus woman, went to a standard mammogram checkup, something many countries offer for free, even for the lucky ones. Had I not gone there, the tumor would have gone undetected. In a year from now, this could have grown much bigger. The thought of that makes me share this story with you. A mammogram is life-saving. It's uncomfortable, and you might think that you won't have something in your breasts anyway, but go. And for the men reading this, remind your wife, girlfriend, mother, sister to go and get checked, which is always good advice. Even without the luxury I, as a Western woman, experience with checkups, go. Luckily, there are many organizations that offer information about self-detection if you do not have access or funds for a mammogram. If I might inspire you to take good care of yourself, then something good will come out of this cancer diagnosis. If all goes as planned, I will be up and running in time for the European tour with Nightwish that will start on the 20th of November. And my cat is here. And I am optimistic since my prognosis is good. I promise to take good care of myself. I will be off the grid for a while to focus on myself." End quote. Jansen made her live debut as the frontwoman of Nightwish on October 1st, 2012 at Showbox Soto in Seattle, following the abrupt band's lead singer of 5 years, Annette Olsen. Jansen officially joined Nightwish in 2013. As part of Nightwish, Jansen landed 2 number-1 albums in Finland and top 5 albums in Austria, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and Switzerland. Born in the Netherlands, Jansen joined her first band, one of the world's first symphonic metal bands, After Forever, when she was only 16 years old. The group went on to release 5 albums from 2000 to 2007 before they broke up in 2009. Jansen's next band, Revamp, released 2 albums in 2010 and 2013 before she joined Nightwish as a full-time member. Nightwish's first album with Jansen as the lead singer was 2015's Endless Forms Most Beautiful, which landed in top 10s around the world. This was followed by 2020's Human Nature, which was also an international success. Excuse me. Jansen has toured extensively with the band and appeared on 3 of Nightwish's live albums, Showtime Storytime, Vehicle of Spirit, and Decades, live in Buenos Aires. In 2019, Jansen participated in the popular Dutch TV show Beste Zangers, where she scored a big hit with Phantom of the Opera together with Henrik Poort. She was recognized with a Dutch Poprijs Award, a prestigious accolade for artists that has made important contributions to Dutch music. In the same year, her first solo tour sold out in less than 24 hours. So, needless to say, she's got quite a resume unto herself, even before she got to Nightwish. So, but thankfully, like she said, she went and got her mammogram done, and she was able to catch the cancer early. So it looks like they're gonna remove it. She won't have to have a mastectomy or anything like that. So,
Well, there was actually an update on that yesterday, and she actually said that the surgery went as planned. So hopefully,
okay. Well, there you go.
Everything's good. Everything's good. So.
Okay, well, good. Yeah, so
I knew you had that. I knew you had that story. I just didn't know if you seen the follow up yesterday. So.
I had not, so I appreciate that. So, okay. And of course, as we hear of anything with Floor and her recovery and everything else, we'll let you guys know how that goes.
I want to say this too, like not only women, men should be checking for those types of things too, because I have heard of men having breast cancer as well. So,
Oh yeah.
So it's not. It's
I mean,
not. Of course, don't get me wrong. It affects women more, but
well, it absolutely does. I mean, and yeah. So just because men don't have mammary glands, I mean, so
don't mean much. So
no.
Yeah, well, hopefully, like I said, everything seemed. They said everything went swimmingly, so hopefully, she can. Everything goes as she plans and gets back on tour and everything in a couple weeks. So
yeah. So first and foremost, we hope her health gets back to where she wants it. Absolutely.
All right, I'm sticking with Metal Hammer here. Following the release of Lamb of God's ninth album, Omens, Metal Hammer are proud to team up with Richmond, Virginia's finest metal exports for this exclusive new bundle, only available online. The special edition of the latest issue of Metal Hammer magazine features an exclusive variant cover plus an Omens lyrics sheet hand-signed by none other than Lamb of God frontman Randy Blythe. There are only 200 bundles available worldwide, so pick yours up while you can. Speaking to us for the fiery cover in the issue, singer Blythe revealed that their angry new album is inspired by the angst and tensions in today's world of unrest. Quote, if there's a unifying theme of Omens, it's to pay attention to what's happened in the past because it's happening now, Randy says. Authoritarian tendencies are rising up again, especially on the far right, and we have to pay attention to that so we don't let the fucking demagogues have their way. We just don't seem to be learning, motherfuckers. Pay attention, end quote. As well as the rest of the Lamb of God's interview. Issue 367 of Metal Hammer also features exclusive features, reviews, and news starring the likes of The Who, Mitch Lucker, Hailstorm, Hellraiser, Amy Lee, Lorna Shore, Murder Dolls, Devin Townsend, and much more. So if you want that bundle there, you can go over to Metal Hammer's website and order that. Because I don't know how many are left. I know they said there was only 200, so
I'd say probably none.
Probably, yeah. By now, probably none. Yeah. Especially with a lyric sheet signed by Randy Blythe. But,
oh yeah.
So, I always hate the political portion. I mean, I know musicians put in their music a lot, but I try to look past that and just enjoy the music. So, but I will say this: like it's not only far right; it's far left. It's far. All of it's far fetched, in my opinion. How about that? How about that?
Right, yeah, yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
I actually think that I know a buddy of ours, David Leonard, on the page on the group page said posted something about Lemmy back years ago. And he said, I know, and he's like, I know y'all hate politics on here, but I listened to that and I was just like, man, if that ain't dead on, I don't know what is. But because he pretty much said, hey, they're not going to do shit for you no matter what side you vote on. So, and I've said that for years too. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, I do my part in voting, but I mean, there you go.
Yeah,
we'll leave that to the boss man.
Yeah, I was just about to say we got the boss man's in the house. That's right.
Dan does a lot of the political shock and everything for VOP USA Radio, so he definitely knows more about that stuff than we do. I just, my opinion on it is I try not to have one, but
same.
But I mean, it is good to discuss that stuff, like I said, on the proper channels. But we don't get too involved with that here. Yeah. Unfortunately, it tends to creep in every once in a while. But
yeah, I mean, it does sometimes. But I mean, it's
well, like I said, you got some of these bands writing music about it. And
sure,
it's kind of hard not to have it creep in once in a while. Machine Head, we talked about that, one of our favorite bands, but they're definitely
Metal Shock.
Metal Shock.
Metal Shock. Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
If you can get Rob on board from Machine Head with that, then we could do a Metal Shock.
Yeah. Dave Mustaine's made a living at it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We just go knock on his door. I wonder how that would work out.
Probably not well.
Probably not.
Probably not well.
I can see it, man. So who the fuck are you guys?
Yeah, and how the fuck did you find me? Yeah. It is kind of strange. It is kind of strange to know that as we sit here doing this show, that Dave Mustaine is less than an hour away from us somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah,
he is that close.
But I've always been that type of person where I've hardly ever been starstruck, and then with wrestling and stuff, I've met some people. So it's like I have been starstruck a few times. I met Ricky Steamboat, which was one of my idols when I got into wrestling. So, I kind of based my moves and stuff around what he did. So
yeah,
so it was kind of an awe to meet somebody like that. But other than that, I mean, I met some I met Batista and stuff before he was Batista, of course. But but yeah, you beat Dave. Like I said, I met them, but I didn't meet them while they were famous. That's the
right.
difference, I guess. So,
yeah.
And you never look at a guy in a locker room and think that that guy's gonna be the next superstar. I mean, you just never know. I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, I've never been. My
whole yeah, my whole thing is I never really know what to say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said,
I don't want to be that guy,
Right. Well, that's what I see people out like in places where they're eating or something. I'm not going to bother people while they're eating, for one.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to be.
And I see all these people like, oh my god, can I get your autograph? Get the fuck out of here! I'm trying to eat.
Yeah.
So it's it's just one of those things where you don't you got to have respect for that person, because there's at the end of the day they're still people. What they do on stage is one thing, but
yeah, well, it's like that one time where I saw John Moyer at the Nashville airport. I didn't ask for a picture, an autograph, or anything. I just walked over and I said, "Hey, huge fan." Shook his hand and talked to him for maybe like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then just
Yeah. And he probably appreciated that,
Yeah, but didn't wasn't trying to like draw attention or anything like that, but I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like, what are the chances of me ever running into this guy again?
Right.
And then, but at the same time, like I say, you don't want to be like the overbearing, overzealous fan and shit like that. So just trying to find like a fine line of, of going over and at least letting the particular person, because I have met a few famous people, not too many.
Yeah.
But you want to, like you say, you want to be respectful, but at the same time, you want to like, at least get a chance to at least talk to him for a second. But yeah, you don't want to fanboy out or anything like that.
Right.
And so yeah.
Well, I think my biggest one was when I was 16. I actually met Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that was pretty big. So
holy shit, you never told me that.
Oh, really?
No, you never told me that.
Yeah, he was actually doing a speaking at this church or gymnasium. I can't remember exactly where we were. It was when I was in Nashville in a school for bad children, I guess we could say. But so we all got to go to the actual event, and there was other people there besides him, but there was a lot of people speaking there on, and that's kind of what they were trying to, speak positive to children and, teenagers, and trying to build them up. So, yeah. But it was pretty cool. I actually got to like go down, after the thing, we got to shake his hand, and it's pretty cool. So
yeah, no, I never heard this story.
Yeah. So of course back then, his hand was probably, the size of my head, but
no shit.
Yeah. That may be like one of the biggest, people I've ever met. Like, being in movies, I've, crossed paths with people, but I've never like, I was like, 2 feet away from Hayden Panettiere when we shot Nashville, but I never got to like, say, hey, Hayden, how you do? It was never anything like that, because, for one, I always try to be professional on set. It's like I'm here to do a job just like she is, and she's just making more money. But yeah, I mean, I've ran across those people like that, and then like I said, Pitch Perfect 3, all those stars were like right there. And I think what was cool about those girls were they we had like a spot where they was having technical difficulties, and they just started doing this little comedy bit, and it was so cool just to have them like, be that much aware to shoot the shit while they figure everything out. And like, I don't think anybody there like even caught on that they were having, that much trouble at the time because we were too involved with what they were doing. So, but yeah, it's pretty. Like I said, you get a lot of stuff when you're on set doing stuff. So, but anyway, we kind of got way off target here, but
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, but
especially since we got a little bit of especially since we have like some actual metal, talking points to get to today. So
but anyway, so beside the point. But yeah, so if you want that issue of yes. If you want that issue of Metal Hammer, go over there and check it out. See if it's still available. And we'll leave the political shot to Dan.
To the professionals, yeah.
Yeah, to the professionals. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, to the professionals.
They know way more than we do. So
they know a hell of a lot more than we do. It's not even close.
Yeah, like some of the I listen to it just trying to keep up with the shit that's going on because a lot of times I was like. I was listening to a little bit of it last week, and I was just like, "Oh fuck, I didn't even know that was something going on." Like,
oh, I know.
Yeah,
I know. It's crazy.
So if you ever want to know anything that's not in front of your face on like CNN and Fox News, then go to PolitiShot. They'll let you know what's. They'll kind of let you know what's going on behind the scenes.
They definitely fill you in. Absolutely. All right. This one's kind of a twofer here.
Okay.
So staying over at Blabbermouth, according to Variety, Motley Crue guitarist Mick Mars will no longer tour with the band, although he will continue as a member. A statement from Mick's representative reads as follows, quote, Mick Mars, co-founder and lead guitarist of heavy metal band Motley Crue for the past 41 years, has announced today that due to his ongoing painful struggle with ankylosing spondylitis, he will no longer be able to tour with the band. Mick will continue as a member of the band, but can no longer handle the rigors of the road. AS is an extremely painful and crippling degenerative disease which affects the spine. Hang on a second. Okay, there we go. A replacement guitarist has not yet been named, although John 5 has been rumored to step in for Mars. Stay tuned for that. Back in 2013, Crue singer Vince Neil said that Mars' ongoing battle with AS, a painful form of chronic arthritis that causes vertebrae in the spine to fuse together, as well as the band's desire to, quote-unquote, go out on top, were the primary reasons for Crue's decision to call it quits after 2015. It's just time, Neil said nearly a decade ago. Mick's health is not that good, and touring is tough on him. I'm sure in 5-10 years' time, we'll probably do something together again, but it's not going to be like a Kiss farewell to the farewell tour. We're not going to be like that. But if that's not alliteration, I don't know what it is. But because Kiss's farewell tour is like still going on. Crue drummer Tommy Lee echoed Vince's comments at the time, telling Canadian progressive house music producer and performer Deadmau5, of all people, in a video, quote, our guitar player Mick, he has a spinal disease that's slowly fusing his vertebrae together. It's one of those things that's treatable but not curable, so it's just progressively getting really worse, and it's painful for him, so he doesn't want to tour much longer. I can't say I blame him. The last thing we ever want to do is go out running on 2 cylinders with some hired guy playing the guitar. Well, stay tuned for that. That's just whack. So we want to go out with one big hurrah with the original guys and be done with it, end quote. However, in an October 2013 tweet, Mars painted a different picture, claiming that his medical condition had never affected his playing. Quote, once again, any rumors regarding a farewell tour due to, quote unquote, my poor health is BS, he wrote. I am doing fine. My AS has never kept me from touring. He added, thank all of you for knowing the truth. When I'm done touring, you'll hear it from me. 1-year-old Mars has struggled with AS since his late teens and spoke about his first experiences with it in Crue's 2001 biography, The Dirt. Quote, my hips started hurting so bad every time I turned my body that it felt like someone was igniting fireworks in my bones, he said. I didn't have enough money to see a doctor, so I just kept hoping that I could do what I usually do, will it away through the power of my mind, but it kept getting worse. Then one afternoon while doing my laundry, I started having trouble breathing. At first, it felt like someone had plunged a knife into my back, but as the weeks passed, the pain kept moving around my back. Next, my stomach started burning, and I worried that my whole body was about to fall apart. I thought that there was a hole in my stomach, and acids were leaking out and destroying my bones and organs. I'd grab hold of doorknobs, anchor my legs into the ground, and pull my hands out to stretch my back and ease the pressure out. End quote. End quote. Mick told Metal Sludge in 2008 that his condition had worsened in the later decades and that he stopped playing guitar for almost 2 years. Quote, nowadays it's not so bad, but back then when I was high on all that stuff and Motley were having a break, I knew if I didn't stop, I was going to die. In the end, I had to go to a neuropsychiatrist to straighten me up. He said to me, just hold the guitar for an hour a day. Don't play it, just hold it. It was pretty bizarre, but I got through it. And in the end, I think I'm actually a better player because of it. End quote. Speculation about John Five's involvement with Cruz gained strength after the longtime Rob Zombie guitarist failed to appear with the Shock Rocker at this year's Aftershock Festival in Sacramento. Rob was instead joined on stage by returning guitarist Mike Riggs for the first time since 2006, and I think we reported on that last week. John Five has reportedly already dismissed the rumor of him touring with Crew after a fan commented on an old photo of Mars and John Five in the latter's Instagram and asked whether the 52-year-old guitarist was indeed joining Crew on the road. John Five replied in a since deleted comment, "No, just a rumor," end quote. So, follow up to that, at blabbermouth.com, Motley Crue has officially recruited John Five as its new guitarist following Mick Mars' decision to no longer tour with the band. Earlier today being October 27th, so on Thursday, Motley Crue released the following statement, quote, while change is never easy, we accept Mick's decision to retire from the band due to the challenges with his health. We have watched his AS for decades, and he has always managed it with the utmost courage and grace. To say enough is the ultimate act of courage. Mick's sound helped define Motley Crue from the minute he plugged in his guitar at our very first rehearsal together. The rest, as they say, is history. We'll continue to honor his musical legacy. We will carry out Mick's wish and continue to tour the world as planned in 2023. No doubt will it take an absolutely outstanding musician to fill Mick's shoes, so we are grateful that our good friend John Five has agreed to come on board and join us moving forward. We will see all you kids out on the road, end quote. Added John, I'm honored to carry Mick's legacy, carry on, and am looking forward to playing these songs. End quote. A longtime friend of Motley Crue, bassist Nikki Sixx, John Five is one of the credited co-writers on the 3 original songs on Crue's track, and he is also a member of LA Rats, the supergroup featuring Sixx, Rob Zombie, and drummer Tommy Clufetos. John Five's involvement with Motley Crue as the band's new guitarist was first reported as a rumor by the Metal Sludge website on October 7th. Speculation about John Five replacing Mars gained strength after the longtime Rob Zombie guitarist failed to appear at Aftershock. He was replaced by Mike Riggs. Already talked about that. John Five has performed Motley Crue songs a number of times. Back in 2018, John Five was joined by Sixx, along with Anthrax's Scott Ian and his wife Pearl Aday at the Whiskey A Go Go in West Hollywood, California, to play a cover of Shout at the Devil. Earlier this year, the guitarist ran through the renditions of both Home Sweet Home and Kickstart My Heart at various shows on his U.S. tour. John Five spoke about his close friendship with Sixx in a 2019 interview with Outburn. At the time, he said, quote, Nikki, he's my best friend. We love each other. He has inspired me and taught me so much life in general. He's a phenomenal songwriter, lyricist, author, everything. He's always telling me to listen to his audiobook or see this movie. He has a happy marriage, a happy life, a successful band he started from the ground up. He's one of the most inspiring people. He'll text me all the time to read something or try something. It's wonderful. He's a phenomenal photographer as well. I remember him telling me that he's going to take bass lessons again and get into playing with his fingers. He was so dedicated. We worked on the Dirt soundtrack together. When we went into the studio, he did it all with his fingers. Tommy Lee was like, "Look at you. He's just such a dedicated person. I love the Dirt movie. It was killer." End quote. Mick's retirement was officially announced on Wednesday via a statement from his representative to Variety. I won't read the statement again because it was in the previous story. Let's see. Rehash. Okay, so there we go.
So he's in, he's not in. Just kidding, I am. So
yep. So yeah. Basically, at the end of the day, Mick Mars is done with touring, and John Five is taking his place. So there we go. And I do want to say good morning to Myrna, to Victor, and is there somebody in here named Kayla?
Yeah, your daughter's in there.
Oh, that must be who Facebook user is.
It is, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Well, good morning, Munchkin. All it said was Facebook user.
Yeah, I know. I seen that too. That's why I was looking, trying to catch everybody's comments. They're on three different. Feeds. So So I was like, oh, where's all these people at? So
So yes, good morning to everybody. So
yeah, the boss man's on.
Kayla is at work, so she's listening to us at work. So that's very
cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, and then the boss man's on the VOP link. So he's on the VOP link. Myrna is on the page link, and then I think everybody else is maybe on the group link. So
yeah.
So it's page, group, and platform. So there you
go. Yeah.
Just went down all the lists, but wherever you listen to us, we appreciate it no matter where you're at. So
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Whatever you're
absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So I got I'm probably just going to do two here since they're real short.
Yeah, that's fine.
I got you seem like you was winded there on that one, so
yeah. Well, I was trying.
Because you did two together. So
yeah. Well, I was trying to get through them kind of quickly because they tied in together, and I was like, as I was reading, I was like, some of this shit's getting redundant. I need to fucking wrap it up. So
wrap it up.
Yeah. I know.
Wrap it up, G. This one, first one's over from Metal Hammer. If you like rock music and do you like the circus? Well, if so, then the Spanish capital of Madrid over the course of next week will have amazing news for you. The Rock Circus is currently in town, entertaining fans at the IFEMA exhibition complex on AV del Parthenon, not far from the airport. Yes, and all of our Spanish listeners can kill me. Publicity material for the Rock Circus promises that patrons will bear witness to a new entertainment format that offers the most extreme circus acts whilst traveling through the history of rock, which all sounds very promising, but there's more. But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
The show will be performed by a total of 50 performers, including jugglers, acrobats, trapeze artists, etc., and like 10 dancers, says the organizers. They will be joined by a rock and roll band with 18 musicians who will perform a repertoire of 40 songs by iconic groups like Kiss, Metallica, Iron Maiden, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, Queen, and David Bowie. These songs will accompany the most amazing circus scenes that the artistic team has developed during an exhaustive worldwide search, having compiled numbers from different countries like Portugal, the United Kingdom, Cyprus, Russia, oh my God, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, there you go.
Kazakhstan.
Ukraine, Colombia, or Italy. Spanish YouTubers, Metal Remains, have been to the Rock Circus to report on what's happening there, so we don't have to. And their footage suggests that there's much more for attendees to enjoy. Highlights include a spectacular motorcycle globe of death, a pair of aerial artists cavorting athletically while a live band plays Led Zeppelin's Kashmir, and a troupe of enthusiastic dancers prancing about to a medley of songs, including Metallica's Enter Sandman, Guns N' Roses' Going to the Jungle, and Kiss's I Was Made for Loving You. The Rock Circus runs up until November 1st. So if you want to catch if you can't attend, I guess I should say, if you can't attend, then you can catch the Metal Remains YouTubers over there covering the show, so you get to see a little bit of what's going on. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That would definitely be that'd be interesting.
Pretty cool concept, I think. Yeah. So, and with like the America's Got Talent, and the one over in the UK too. Like I don't remember what it is. Is it? I'm trying to remember what it was called.
I think it's just UK's Got Talent.
It's the British, isn't it?
I don't know if it's the British have talent, because I think it's
something like that. Yeah,
I think it's the entire UK. So I mean, it might be the UK's Got Talent. I'm not sure.
I can't remember, but anyway, you got all that going on over between all those shows, and there's a lot of like acts on there that do circus stuff. So I'm sure they can find enough people to put on a pretty good show. So
yeah.
And this next one is over from Blabbermouth. This is real short. During an appearance on a recent episode of Guns N' Roses' centric Appetite for Distortion podcast, Monster Magnet frontman Dave Weindorf spoke that what it was like for him and his bandmates to tour with Metallica in the late 90s. He said, quote, "We had been through Europe many, many times headlining before, so we do like maybe 500 people a night. So we had done really, really well in Europe going around. Our records were selling increasingly better and better. We had like 2 records on a major label at that point, and we were looking for some sort of break. You look for a break. You look for that break that you want. Metallica really gave us a chance to play in front of a much bigger crowd, and it was really cool. The only thing that wasn't cool about it was that there were so many dudes in the audience. We went through all of Eastern Europe with them, and we were like, where are the girls? Because it is Metallica. And we were used to having a bunch of girls at the show, so that was the only hard part. It was just like, what do you want to do after the show? Wow. That's pretty funny.
So that was the worst part about touring with Metallica, or it was just a sausage party?
I guess, bad thing was he was probably married, so he probably didn't need the damn girls no way.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
But who knows? I'm just speculating, but who knows?
I mean, I'm sure you remember the behind the music, just like a lot of people do, where James was talking about the tub tarts.
Yeah.
So Dave was probably thinking, hey, I'm gonna get bathed, and then you didn't get bathed. And yes, Victor, definitely not to gloss over the fact that Jerry Lee Lewis did pass away yesterday also. So we don't want to forget that. So
we had a lot of guests this week. So
so thank you for the reminder there. We definitely appreciate that.
And in a tribute to Leslie Jordan, well, shit.
Yeah.
That was kind of one of the things that was surprised me this week that he passed. I was like, wow, that's.
Yeah, well, there was a car accident, right? I
think he had like a health issue while driving. I think is what they were saying. So, I don't know if he had a heart attack and then wrecked his car or what happened. But,
okay.
But I think that from what I gathered, that's kind of what I read into was he
okay
a heart attack driving or something. So.
Oh, okay, because I heard he died in a car accident, but that was all I heard. Well, I didn't hear it, but I didn't hear anything that like.
Well, they think he was basically already gone by the time he wrecked. So.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, I hadn't heard that, but yes, it's unfortunate either way, but
it is, man. Because he was really like I think he was like a breath of fresh air for a lot of people during the pandemic. He kind of, he honestly kind of rose back into the limelight during all that time with all his crazy videos and shit.
Right.
It was so funny. I like one of the not to get off the subject again, but I remember one of the funniest things he told me was his mom and aunt was on like they were lost somewhere on vacation and they pulled over at a Burger King and was asking for directions and they told them they were in Kissimmee, Florida is what it was, and they were arguing about how it was pronounced. And they were like, it's Kissimmee. And she said, no, it's Kissimmee. And they were in a Burger King eating lunch arguing about it. And so finally they walked up to the front counter and said, ma'am, could you tell us how you pronounce where we are right now? And the lady said, Burger King. I was like, wow. But I thought that was pretty funny.
That is funny.
Yeah, he was definitely a breath of fresh air. So we definitely lost a part of the world's laughter. So
yeah.
Last I seen like another person that passed away too yesterday. I can't remember. He was the I can't remember his name now, but he was one of the producers for Newhart, and he did a lot of the producing for a lot of the '70s shows back then. So.
Yeah.
So they're dropping like flies this week, man. So.
Yeah, they are. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. All right. Moving over to Metal Injection. Terminal Nation bassist Chase Turner was unfortunately involved in a car accident that left him incapacitated for the time being. Terminal Nation has noted this puts a dent in both the progress on their upcoming album as well as Turner's income as a barber. Check out the band's full statement on Turner below, and feel free to donate to the guy at both his Cash App, $Barber Chase, or Venmo at Barber Chase. Quote, as many of you may have already heard, but our own Chase Turner was in a bad car accident this week. He flipped his car 4 times and was ejected out of the vehicle, and the vehicle rolled over him. Ugh, ouch. Fortunately, he's alive and healing up, but unfortunately, he won't be able to come back to work for a while. He'll be having to focus on getting better and healing his body. We were in the midst of finishing the writing of the second LP, and this is a huge setback. Right now, we are not sure how soon he can return to live shows, but this motherfucker is a beast, and if anyone can bounce back quick, it's Chase. More importantly than the band, though, Chase works in a field where if he's not actively working, he has no income. He doesn't have paid time off, and bills never stop, not including the bills from this accident. We are taking cash donations at Dogtown Barber Lounge on his location, as well as through his Cash App, $Barber Chase, and at Venmo at Barber Chase. Any help is greatly appreciated. We're all thankful he's still alive, and we're thankful for the support we've already received. He'll be back to rocking with us and finishing up this LP soon enough. If you have a little cash to toss his way, it's much appreciated, end quote. So, glad to hear that he's okay. Well, I mean, all things considered, you know, he's down, but definitely not out at the moment. But, you know, hopefully, you know, he'll be able to completely recover, you know, like we said about Floor Jansen, though, you know, just for his way of life. I mean, you know, I know he's going to want to get back to making music just like Floor Jansen. But I mean, the first and foremost in all of these situations is always, you know, just the day-to-day health, so people can actually live their lives. Getting back to work is important, but it's secondary to everything else.
And what did they say he played? What part did he play in the band? Bass. Okay.
Bassist.
Can you imagine being on tour? So who does your hair? Or our bassist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't have to hire a stylist. I mean,
that's true. That's always a plus. Always a plus. So
yes, that's kind of nice. It's like it's like in Ash's Reign. They have an IT guy and a
yeah, right, yeah.
They have an IT guy and an engineer in the band already. So I mean, there you go.
Yeah, they got an IT guy and a web developer. So
yeah,
so they got you on both ends. So
yeah.
He codes it, and when you fuck it up, he's there to fix it.
Right. Yeah. Right. So that's always helpful.
Yeah. I always want to. I meant to ask him next time he's on. So I'm sure we'll have Vinny on at some point again because he was.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was definitely down to do another one at some point. So and we're definitely down for that as well. So, I'll ask him next time. How many times has he told somebody to unplug it and plug it back in? So.
Right.
That's a real rock question there. So
yeah, absolutely is.
We bring out the hard questions, man.
Yeah, that's right. The hard hitting news. That's right.
All right, my last one. I got a conversational piece, but my last story is over from Metal Sucks. It ain't going to get you high, but the surviving members of Typo Negative announced earlier today that they've teamed up with Whole Organics to release a CBD tincture called Blackberry No. 1. This is this
oh my god,
this is Whole Organics' first artist-based offering, with the Typo version currently on a very limited pre-sale currently on at the moment. The tincture will feature very special Typo packaging along with a letter of authenticity. Again, this is important to note that even though this is a cannabis-related product, it is not going to put you into outer space. It's got less than 0.3% THC, with CBD being the most active ingredient in the mix. It is also legal in all 50 states as a result. So there you go. And
it also smells like a butthole when you light it.
Yeah.
Hey, at this point,
it comes with a scratch and stiff sticker. So.
That's right. At this point, if Typo Negative just doesn't lean into the skid and make everything they do smell like a butthole, then they're just missing out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's see.
Comes with your own butthole spelled candle.
That's right. Yeah. Except the candle is going to be called Brown No. 2.
Yeah, Brown number 2.
All right, going back over to the PRP, 2022 has been a banner year for our alternative metal outfit in this moment. In addition to receiving 3 gold single certifications this past summer, the outfit have just been awarded their first ever platinum certification in the United States. The band's 2013 single Horror, taken from their gold certified 2012 album Blood, has just gone platinum. That track previously went gold back in 2019. Last week saw the band celebrate the 10th anniversary of that album with the release of their Blood 1983 EP. That effort features reimagined versions of several of the key tracks found on Blood. And then, it tells you what the RIA does as far as platinum and gold and all that stuff. We've gone over that way too many times.
Yeah.
500,000 for gold, 1 million for platinum. So if you don't know that at this point, then now you do. All right. And then one more thing real quick. This is, I guess it's kind of a discussion thing, but this was because we've talked about the Pantera reunion, celebration, tribute, whatever the hell you decide you want to call it. That's up to you.
Yeah.
But this is over at metalsucks.net, and this is just proof that this thing is going to work, and it's going to work well as long as, like Jason said, Zakk Wylde sits down and starts playing the damn guitar. Yeah. So unless you've been living under a rock for over the last few months, you've likely been bashed over the head with news and reactions related to the Pantera reunion tribute act that'll be hitting the road in the near future. To say excitement for hearing Pantera classics played by surviving members Rex Brennan, Philip Anselmo, and Abbott brothers fill-ins Charlie Benante and Zakk Wylde is at a fever pitch would be an understatement. Down in Santiago, Chile, tickets for the December 13th show at the 5,400-seat Teatro Caupolicán sold out so fast that the organizer was forced to move the show to a different date and significantly larger space. According to a social media post by the band, the show will now be held on December 12th at the goddamn stupid ads. The show will now be held on December 12th at the Movistar Arena, which has a capacity of 17,000 people. Not only that, but they're adding Brazilian powerhouse Sepultura to the ticket.
Man, that's going to be
right? No shit. Pantera will play their first show in more than 2 decades just 10 days earlier at the Heaven and Hell Metal Fest. So, yeah. So they went from a venue of 54 to a venue that had to hold triple that, and they decided to let Sepultura show up and play too. So, yeah, sure. Why the hell not?
Yeah, because that's not going to sell like another 20,000 tickets.
Yeah, especially down there in South America. So
right,
we know here at Metalheads Unite that we've got a lot of new South American fans, a lot of Latin American fans just in general, but we got a lot of new South American fans. We kind of owe a little bit of that to our new friend Victor, and we appreciate Victor, and we appreciate our new fans. So to all you guys down there in South America, especially any fans down there in Chile, you better get your
lucky motherfuckers. That's all.
You lucky, yeah, and you better get your tickets because they're gonna go fast. If they haven't all gone, if they're not 100% gone already. So you've got Knotfest Colombia in Bogota, you've got Knotfest Chile in Santiago, then you got the show at Movistar Arena in Santiago, and then there's 2 shows in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So, yeah, our South American friends, they got a chance to check it out before a lot of us here in North America are going to get to. So if you can take advantage, if you can take advantage of it, please do. And there's a couple there. Hell, there's even a couple shows in Mexico before that. They're going to be in Texcoco, Mexico on December 2nd, and in Monterrey, Mexico on December 6th. So, so yeah, this is gonna be one of those shows where if you can see it at all, you better.
Yeah,
it's really gonna be.
And we all know that all of our South American friends are here because for the accent that that I do. So
that's right. That's exactly right. Come for the news, stay for the accent.
Yeah, which is funny. Me and my wife were talking about that yesterday, and she said that it was funny because we talked about how I talked to like Hidden Intent and a couple of other, Devil and all those bands that we have talked to and plan on talking to maybe. But I told my wife, I said, yeah, it's always funny how women fall head over heels for those kind of accents and stuff. And I said, you hardly ever, hear, people from other countries talk about our accents. And she said,
Right.
oh no. She goes, oh no. She said she went on an away team with Amazon like years ago and said there was people there that were English and just loved her accent. And I was just like, wow, really? I said, that's odd. I've never heard that before. So I thought that was kind of interesting to hear that. Well, maybe people over there do like the accent. Maybe that's why they listen. Who knows? But
Maybe. Who knows?
whatever gets you listen, I don't care. So
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, somebody on the
show start doing the Burt Kreischer and just do it topless or something.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody.
Well, somebody on the show's got to have an accent. I sure as hell don't have one. And Victor, yeah, you're right. Chile rivals in audience with Brazil and Colombia being the biggest scene, Mexico and the entire continent. Yeah, man, dude, Latin America loves heavy metal, which I think is just awesome. Of course, we're gonna think it's awesome, but it's just, I mean, I've seen. Obviously, I've never been to a concert, in person in any of those countries, but I've seen so many performance videos of just so many bands from like Costa Rica, Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, all those countries. And I mean, the crowds are huge and they're just so engaged. It's ridiculous. I mean, so yeah, Latin America, they fucking love heavy metal.
All right. Was that your last story or?
Yes. It's my last story, but I mean, you have your discussion thing, and then there's one thing that that I mentioned to you last night that I wanted to kind of touch on and kind of get your feelings about it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll go through this little list real quick. So not real quick because there's top 15, but
okay.
This is over from Metal Sucks.
Okay.
Since the new wave of American heavy metal was an exciting period in time for American heavy metal, as we emerged from the new metal induced fog of the late 90s and early 2000s, a new crop of metal bands rose up, bearing extreme metal derived riffs, Pantera and death metal influenced screams, and the melodic sensibilities of classic metal. The bounds of the genre tag are still up for some debate, given that the movement ended less than 2 decades ago, but many, not all, of the bands played a style we recognize today as metalcore and proudly wore the metal label as a badge of honor. The new wave of American heavy metal and the bands within have been derided in the years since as not being extreme enough or inspiring the next generation of metalcore. But those same bands also brought the emphasis back to riffs and away from turntables, inspiring new legions of young musicians and bridging the gap between hard rock and extreme metal once again. Timelines are debatable, but most metal historians and bands who were there agree that the new wave of American heavy metal lasted from the early to mid 90s and ended somewhere around 2006. With that in mind, Metal Sucks is putting on our metalcore apologist hat and revisiting the best new songs of the new wave of American heavy metal. We apologize in advance. That's never good. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, we're probably going to agree with a lot of this. Maybe not song wise, but I think a lot of the bands on here we definitely would agree with.
Okay.
But they kick off their number 15. Like I said, these are the best songs of the new wave of heavy metal.
Okay. Best songs. Okay.
All right. So this number 15 was Shadows Fall, Thoughts Without Words. That's from The Art of Balance in 2002. Massachusetts was a hotbed for metalcore, so it's no surprise that a number of artists on today's list hail from the land of America's least favorite football team. Shadows Fall began to move away from the Gothenburg sound of melodic death metal on the Art of Balance, which made for some interesting choices, including a cover of Pink Floyd's Welcome to the Machine, which is fucking great, by the way.
Which is, yes, I was about to say it's fucking fantastic. Are you kidding me?
And then on Thoughts Without Words, Shadows Fall incorporate hard rock influences into their melodic death metal stylings. It is very of its era song, but one of that feels very representative of the time. So, I mean, I don't think we could argue Shadows Fall was definitely an influential band in that era. So,
yeah, I would have picked the song "What Drives the Week," but that's just
well, like I said, yeah,
that's
just
that's just semantics.
Yeah, that's why I said I know like song wise we're probably not going to agree with everything,
right?
But I think band wise we're probably going to be on board with a lot of this. So,
yeah.
14 was from band Himza, A Girl in Glass, from Courting Tragedy and Disaster from 2003. Prosthetic Records hit the jackpot a few times around this time period, releasing the first 4 Lamb of God albums and landing soon-to-be metalcore stalwarts, the Acacia Strain. Himza didn't replicate that success, but they struck gold musically a few times, like on Counting Tragedy and Disaster. Sounds like A Girl in a Glass nailed the relationship between melodic metal and hardcore with a production job that's still raw but still heavy as fuck. Also of note, Himza's debut EP came out legendary hardcore label Revelation Records, further demonstrating the hardcore metal scene unity developing at that time. They were set to hit the road with Darkest Hour for a European tour earlier this year, but it was canceled due to COVID-19 concerns. So the good thing is a lot of these bands are still around doing it too. That's even I think more so the issue. The big point of this list is a lot of these bands are still doing it. So it hasn't went anywhere. It's still around. Right. So they're still carrying that torch proudly.
Yeah. Thankfully, Shadows Fall did just get back together. We haven't really seen or heard anything. As far
there's new music coming. There's new music coming. So
I would think there has to be, but
they said there was. They said there was at the festival. So
well, see, I didn't go to the festival, so
okay.
So you knew that before I did, which is good because I've been a Shadows Fall fan for a long time. And I was I was bummed when they kind of went on hiatus. So,
which that was one of the cool things about that is the festivals. They had a lot of these bands that had been, absentee for a while with each other. And then, the Union Underground was there about together. God Forbid, Kitty. And what's so crazy is all these bands had said, look for new music. So, even Mudvayne's talking about recording new stuff. So
that's going to be so great.
So this is going to, this is it definitely was great, especially, God Forbid was a band that I thought was going to do a lot more than it did. So to see those guys get back together, it's good too. So
yeah, I think a lot of people did. In God Forbid's case, I think you're right. I think a lot of people did. But I mean, like you said, it's still, bands are still groups of people, and people have things happen. So I mean,
So if you ever want to know any kind of history about black lead singers, just go see Seven Dust. John Witherspoon would be happy to tell you like some of his trials as being a front man, a black front man for a metal band.
I can only imagine the shit he's went through, and it's not fair.
He said, he thanks God every day for where he's at, and he said because he said you don't understand what I had to go through being a black front man for a heavy metal band in the 90s. Like nobody wanted to talk to you or put you on anything, which was sad because I mean Seven Dust is one of the most talented bands out there, I think. So
yeah,
I mean, well, John Witherspoon has got one of the best voices around. So so somebody picked up on it and looked at all those other people and said, "Yep, you fucked up." So,
well, I mean, it's good that. I mean, it's definitely good that somebody did because I mean,
so the thing that kind of pisses me off about that is even in the 80s you had Living Color, which was an all black band.
Black. Yeah.
So why was the big deal? I don't understand. Like
it's not a big deal. And then you even had Phil Lynott before him. You had Jimi Hendrix before him. So I mean, it's just. Yeah. It's just bullshit. I mean, we've talked about. I mean, let's
say, can your record label say you're racist without saying you're racist?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, we just can't use you right now. Okay.
So it's it's all bullshit, of
So
course. And
this is
and
like
we've
the thing that I've always said is talent is talent. I don't
Mhm.
care, if you're black, you're white, you're Japanese, you're man, woman,
Yeah.
trans, whatever. A talent is talent. So I mean,
Hmm.
if you're a musician and you're talented, then it shouldn't
Hmm.
matter what your personal preference for anything else is. You're signing somebody for a talent that they possess. It shouldn't
Yeah.
matter about anything else. I mean,
And it doesn't. Well, to us, it doesn't. It doesn't fucking
well,
matter.
right, but
Yeah. And it shouldn't matter to anybody else. It's just like it's the exact same thing you were talking about in the show. We keep the politics out of the show because we keep the politics out of our taste in music.
right.
You know what I mean? So not to bring it not to bring up anybody in particular, but there are artists out there who don't share the same political views as us, but we're
Mm-hmm.
fans of the band because
Right.
we're keeping the two things separate, keeping the two things completely separate. So I don't give a shit. I don't. I,
I
you
don't.
know.
I
I don't.
don't buy. I don't buy a ticket to your show to hear you. Give me a political speech.
Right.
I
So yeah.
buy
Just.
tickets to your
Yeah.
show to
Yeah.
listen to
Just.
music.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
We. Yeah.
that's one of my big things too. Is like I will walk away. Like I've been to festivals and they start talking, whatever the case may be. They'll talk political shit about
You know.
somebody. I'll
Yeah.
walk
Or
away.
like fuck
I'm
this
not.
or fuck
I'm
that
not
or fuck
paying.
that
Well,
person. Yeah.
but I'm not paying you to. I mean, so there's if you go to a Guar show, you already know you're going to see a president get ripped to shit because it's been going on for 40 fucking years. So
They have.
so they
Yep.
nobody is safe from Guar. So
Yep. Guar has hung every sitting president in effigy since the inception of the band.
so
Democrat, and Republican alike.
right.
They have hung every president in effigy, every single
Yeah.
one.
So yeah, there's definitely a fun time watching that stuff. But
Hmm.
anyway, we're getting way off topic of the list.
Again, yeah,
Yeah, but it's the off topic edition of
yeah.
Metalheads Unite.
Yeah. There are definitely no rails on this show.
No.
This show has never run in a straight line once. Not ever.
Yeah, no. We if we ever got pulled over for drunk driving, we would be the ones walking the cricket line. So,
Hmm. Yep.
all right, number 13 was Atreyu Bleeding Mascara, which it's from the Curse album in 2004. The Curse is a sweet spot between Atreyu's musical abilities and their radio rock aspirations. Bleeding Mascara features more of an emo influence than anything else on the list, but the face melting solo that starts the track and the throat shredding vocals mixed with cleans like that confirms that the song belongs on the list. And Atreyu is one of those bands where you had House of Gold, which was of course a radio safe, friendly song, and then you got a lot of Atreyu stuff that is pretty hardcore. So they definitely, I think that's what happens to bands is they realize they have to do something a little different just to get some radio play, and then which is sad because I think these radio stations are fucking stupid. If you're not playing a variety of heavy metal, then you're this is why you're fucking going wayside, and all these digital platforms are taking over your fucking job. So,
Exactly.
So I mean, if you played half the stuff like on my Spotify list on a rock station, then I would never have to listen to Spotify. So, but you don't do that. You play stupid shit, so I have to listen to Spotify. So,
X's and O's has always been my go-to for Atreyu, but that's just me.
Right.
Like I said, that's just me.
So number 12 on the list is Bleeding Through, Love Lost in a Hell of Gunfire from the album This Is Love, This Is Murderous from 2003. Southern California was another hotbed for the new wave of American heavy metal, spawning a number of bands like Bleeding Through. In the early 2000s, Bleeding Through were hailed as a band that would help usher in a new era of metal. While they didn't have the star power of some of their peers, This Is Love, This Is Murderous combined technicality, atmosphere, and straight up heaviness in a way that was different from the pack. After breaking a brief hiatus announced in 2014, Bleeding Through returned to making music in 2018, and they had a new album out since then, which is fucking outstanding. But I think that's a band that definitely deserves to be on the list as well. So
yeah, and I agree with their song choice too.
Yeah, it's a damn good song. This next one I'm not real familiar with, so you may have to. You may be. I don't know, but number 11 was the Red Chord, Fixation on Plastics from the album Clients in 2005.
Yeah, I haven't. I've heard of the band.
I'm not real familiar with them, so
nor I, to be honest.
Yeah. Another band hailing from Massachusetts, the Red Chord, exploded into the scene with their debut album Fused Together in Revolving Doors. They reigned in the off-the-walls fusion of death metal, hardcore, and grind on their second album, Clients, which quickly grew to be one of the new wave of American heavy metal's classic albums. The Red Chord recently reunited to play a few shows, including a full performance of Clients, and songs like Fixation on Plastics can still make a crowd go wild. And we're probably going to get heat for saying we don't know this band because I'm sure Williams over going, it's on the fucking list, assholes.
Probably.
Probably.
And next one, but like you and I have said before on this show, and outside by the fire, we wish this was our job. We wish this was our job.
Oh yeah, I wish I could spend. I wish I could spend hours, on.
And we do wish we knew every band. We really do. We sincerely do.
Well, it's almost one of those things where you can't know everything. So
yeah, so we really do.
We probably know bands Lou Brutus probably never heard of. So
I would bet on that, and vice versa,
Oh yeah. Well, that's just like we'll talk a little bit more about some more podcasts here in a little bit, but yeah. So, like I said, we'll get to that in a minute. But
yeah,
and we'll circle back.
Oh, dude, no.
Number 10 is God Forbid, The End of the World from 4, The Constitution of Treason, which was a great album, 2005. Goddamn, dudes. God Forbid deserves so much more. The New Jersey outfit released some seriously good albums in the early aughts. Their thrashy, melodic death metal core and grooves appealing to both hardcore kids and Gothenburg-loving Heshers. 2005's 4, Constitution of Treason, is loaded with riffs and breakdowns, standing as probably one of the last great albums of the new wave of American heavy metal. The End of the World sums up everything great about God Forbid, who recently reunited to play at the Blue Ridge Rock Fest. And yes, it was awesome. And I tell you what I like about God Forbid is, and I'm horrible with names, so I apologize, but the lead singer came out and he was talking about they started playing a song, and then they were cutting them, I think. And he was just like, hey, are we cutting? Because I'm not going to, he hadn't even said a lyric yet. They had just started playing. And he was just like, hey, are we cutting? And I guess they were cutting them. So he went to the back. And then he come back out. He said, hey, we just totally got cut. And it's all good. And he was all like cool about it. He was just like, hey, it's all good, man. Like everybody was booing. And he was like, don't boo. It's all good. He said, we're just happy that we were able to reunite to play this guy for you guys. And he said, there's 200 other bands here, so don't start booing because somebody had to cut their set short. So, and I thought that was pretty cool. He could have been a dick and been like, no, man, fuck y'all, I'm playing.
Yeah. Which I'm sure on the inside he wasn't happy.
Well, no, but
I can't say
there was that. There was trying to remember who that was. Somebody there they tried to cut, and he says, no, I'll tell you when I'm done. I'm like, oh shit. I was like, okay.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, but I was like, well, fuck. He's like, fuck you. I'll tell you when I'm done. I'm like, damn. I might have to ask Susie who that was, so I can't remember now. But, number 9 is Chimera Power Trip from the Impossibility of Reason in 2003. The members of Chimera were always clear that the band was descended from the likes of Slayer, Machine Head, and In Flames, despite their groovier tendencies on their early albums. Propelled by crushers like the Light Power Trip, Chimera stuck it out till 2014. Then they hung it up, except for a 2017 reunion show. Drummer Austin Diamond joined Double Driver shortly after Chimera's demise. So, and I doubt he's going anywhere now. So, But I think we could both agree that definitely Camaro was a part of that era of music.
Oh yeah, they absolutely were.
Then number 8 was Unearth, Zombie Autopilot from the Oncoming Storm in 2004. As previously noted, a big part of what qualified a band as being part of the new wave of American heavy metal was the pride with which a band wore the metal label. Unearth had plenty of hardcore in their music, particularly in the breakdowns of vocals, but featured melodic sensibilities that clearly came from the extreme metal. Zombie Autopilot features 2 guitar solos and a strong emphasis on lead guitars, qualities that Unearth maintain to this day. So I will say I'm not familiar with that song, but I do like a lot of Unearth stuff. So I do. Just by listening to that, I want to listen to the song now, just because of the guitar solos. But
yeah, I have not heard a ton of Unearthed stuff over the years. I do know of them, but
yeah, I've seen them I think twice now. So I mean they're really good. So. Yeah. And I don't think we can argue with this one either. Number 7, Hatebreed, Live for This, from the Rise of Brutality in 2003. On the surface, Hatebreeds don't really fit in with the rest of the list. Their early records, Satisfaction is the Death of Desire, and Perseverance are straight up metallic hardcore ass beaters, are made for people wearing camo shorts. They meant shorts. They said shoots. Camo shorts and Air Force Ones. With the Rise of Brutality came out, Hatebreed continued to feed their metallic side. Songs like This Is Now and Live for This take the stomp of arena metal and mix it with the pit aggression of metallic hardcore. I think Hatebreed was one of those bands where it kind of got you. You know, they were their message was, "Hey, get in my face and we'll knock the fucking shit out of you." But
I mean,
pretty much in everything they do. So.
I mean, they were. God, I may get so much heat for this. They were kind of like that message was kind of Five Finger Death Punch before Five Finger Death Punch.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Yeah,
you know,
no shit. You're absolutely, dead on. So,
so. And the cool thing is both bands are still around. Hatebreed's still around. Right. Jamie Just is still doing shit. So
yeah,
There's, so say what you want. Call like I say, you're entitled to. You guys out there, you're entitled to your opinion. You want to call Five Finger Death Punch the Nickelback of metal? Go right ahead. That's totally fine.
The thing is, like I've said this before, but Hatebreed was one of my favorite acts on the Blue Ridge. I mean, I thought they had a great performance, a great show. So actually that stage that they were on has some, God Forbid was on the same stage. Mushroom Head was on that same stage. Guar was on that same stage. Tenacious D was on that same stage. Like that stage was just amazing the whole weekend. It was of course we had to leave to catch other bands on main stages, but I'm just saying, Butcher Babies was on that stage, which I didn't get to see, but they were on that stage. So there was a lot of amazing bands on that one stage. I'm just like, wow, is this? At one point, I looked at her and I said, man, this almost seems like a headlining stage right here. So,
sounds like it.
So, I mean, because you had too big of a mix on the main stages where you had, Seether, and then you had shit. Trying to think of some of the other bands that was over there. 3 Days Grace was over there. So I mean, you had bands like that over there on top of Motionless in White, Ice Nine Kills. So I mean, you had like a whole different mix on the main stages. Which I mean, I understand because that's what brought a lot of people to that side was the mix of the bands that were on it. So. But yeah, it was they definitely stuck to kind of one genre down there on that side of the stage with Hatebreed and God Forbid and all those bands. But,
yeah,
and then it was like the real deathcore, metalcore type stuff was on the other stage next to them, where Brand of Sacrifice and a lot of those bands played. So so it's definitely it didn't seem like it had a theme to it, but once I got there and was trying to play everything, listen to everything, I'm like, man, this is kind of themed out, I think. So,
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing when you kind of.
It's not, yeah. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to. be that rigid with it, but I think it kind of
Right.
helps. I think it kind of helps
Yeah.
because I mean, with a festival of that magnitude, when you can kind of more or less keep the subgenres together, you can kind
Right.
of, especially like you said, you had like 4 days worth of itineraries you had to kind of, shell game around. If you can kind of keep everything grouped together, to a certain extent, I think that probably helped a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, Alice Cooper was on that stage, and so was Tetrarch. So I mean, like I said, that stage had some unreal talent on it. So, all right, number 6 is Darkest Hour, Convalescence. Wait a minute.
Convalescence.
Yeah. Convalescence. Yeah, that's it. Convalescence. Okay, I had to look at it right. That was from the Undoing Ruin album in 2005. 3 things in the life are certain: death, taxes, and Darkest Hour. Nearly 30 years into their career, Darkest Hour are one of metalcore's most reliable bands. Undoing Ruin is melancholic, and songs like Convalescence feature an almost post-metal lean to them, really setting them apart as the genre developed an increased focus on being as heavy as possible. Like I say, I'm not real familiar with Darkest Hour. I do know a few of their songs. I don't really know this one, so I really couldn't.
This is another one of those things we've mentioned multiple times on the show. How you're more of the metalcore guy than I am. So I mean, so far I have heard of every single one of these bands. I know of them, but and Darkest Hour is another one. Like I say, I have heard of all these bands, but you're, with the exception of like Shadows Fall,
right?
And, bands like that. You're probably going to be a little bit more well versed as far as like the overall catalogs than I. So.
All right. Well, the next 5 we all know. So.
Well, there you go.
The number 5 is Trivium, Light to the Flies from Ascendancy in 2005. Like Darkest Hour, Trivium have stuck true to their musical roots and continue to write thrashy melodic metalcore that has earned them spots on tour with the likes of Metallica and Iron Maiden. Ascendancy almost came to the party too late, catching the last real wave of the movement with their sophomore album. There are a lot of Trivium songs that could have qualified for the list, but Light to the Flies has become a staple for the band, even serving as one of the songs from Ascendancy on their recent headliner. So
I don't know. I don't know who is on this list from 4 to 1, but if they got Trivium at 5, they better come out with some fucking bangers, because I fucking love Trivium.
Yeah, well, two you would probably swap with 5. I will tell you that. So if I know you.
Noted. Yeah, noted.
So number 4 was Avenged Sevenfold, Backcountry from City of Evil in 2005, which you won't hear an argument with me about that one. Backcountry was completely inescapable at the time of its release for reasons that are very obvious when looking at the rest of the list. Riding the success of 2003's Waking the Fallen, Avenged Sevenfold switched gears and made a heavy fucking metal album. M. Shadows leveled up as a vocalist, and the guitar duo of Sinister Gates and Zachy Vengeance hit their stride in a big way. The jump from Waking the Fallen to City of Evil is huge, but I dare you to find a teenager whose musical trajectory wasn't changed by songs like Backcountry and Beast and the Harlot, which I think are still 2 of my favorite songs from Avenged Sevenfold. So,
and I will say this: I have every single one of Avenged Sevenfold's albums, and if Sounding the Seventh Trumpet to Waking the Fallen, if they would have stayed with that musical trajectory and if they would have kept with that sound, we're not talking about Avenged Sevenfold being the band that they are today. So whether people want to call that selling out or not, or whatever the hell they want to call it, if they don't make that change from Waking the Fallen to City of Evil, they don't achieve the success that they achieved, at least not when they achieved it.
But the thing is,
I seriously believe that. Like I say, call it selling out, call it whatever the fuck you want. When M. Shadows started singing clean the way he did, they fucking took off.
Well, I mean, you could say the same about Arch Enemy. I mean, when Alyssa, like Liz took over and started singing cleans with the band, I think they kind of they kind of brought in a new fan base.
I think they did,
and I don't think they changed enough to to piss off their old fan base either. I think they
didn't.
kind of I think they did enough to where they kept both around, and I think that's what you got to do. You got to find
Mm-hmm.
that medium that attracts. Because I mean, without them changing their style, we're not talking about a Avenged Sevenfold playing to 20 and 30,000 people. They're still playing in 1,500, 200, 2,000
I think
bars.
so. I think
so. That makes all the difference.
I think so.
And to me, like, if I listen to anything on the radio, they're going to play Backcountry before they play Hail to the King. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, why I don't know, but but even the station that we don't like to mention on here, if you listen to anything Avenged Sevenfold on there, it's going to be old Avenged Sevenfold.
It's going to be it's going to be early stuff. It's going to be
you're not going to hear Nightmare. You're not going to hear Hail to the King. You're going to hear Beast of the Harlot or Backcountry
or at worst Almost Easy.
Right. All right, number 3. I guess we can't argue with this one either. Maybe argue in the place of it, but Killswitch Engage, My Curse is from of course the album As Daylight Dies in 2006. My Curse is the youngest song on the list, a late entry from a band already deeply entrenched in the scene by the time their 4th album was released. Killswitch Engage were one of the bands that spearheaded the then unnamed fusion of extreme metal and hardcore, but they were never better than the years Howard Jones fronted the band. My Curse catapulted Killswitch Engage straight into the mainstream, along with a killer metalcore cover of Holy Diver. And I would, we talked about this many times. We're not going to argue that without Howard Jones, Killswitch wouldn't be where they are right now. So,
Oh no, I'm not even going to try to have that debate, because that's just you're going to be spinning your wheels. You try to debate that, I think.
Well, yeah, because I mean, even Jesse knows that when he took over, he had a job ahead of him keeping them in the same spot that Howard brought them to. So, and I think Jesse did a good job. Don't get me wrong, but
Jesse, of course,
without them switching the way they did, I don't think Killswitch is the same band right now.
I don't think so either.
I think them. And in all honesty, like, Killswitch Engage is probably one of the luckiest bands in the world to hit such a jackpot with two great vocalists. I mean, it's like, how often do you win the lottery? I mean, so number 2 is one that we're probably going to want to swap down with probably 5. But number 2 is Mastodon, Blood and Thunder from Leviathan in 2004. Atlanta's finest Mastodon, not Outcast, put the rest of the scene on notice with their sophomore album Leviathan. Blood and Thunder rips with a fury of Moby Dick and set a quality bar that would be hard to follow for the band and for their peers. Leviathan kicked away the last vestiges of new metal with the total confidence, which, like I said, no offense to Mastodon, but to be above Trivium is.
I'll definitely say I got a problem with that.
Yeah.
I've never been a huge fan of Mastodon. I don't know why.
Not a huge fan, but I do like a lot of their stuff. But
I will say that I do agree with their song choice, though. I do like Blood and Thunder. I like that.
Right.
I do like that song. That is a good one.
And last but not least, number 1. You want to guess who it is?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay. So, number 1, we're probably going to agree on, but maybe not song version, but definitely band. Number 1 is Lamb of God, song Black Label from New American Gospel in 2000. You already knew who would be number 1 on the list. Lamb of God had already established themselves as a force to be reckoned with as Burn the Priest, but their debut as Lamb of God, New American Gospel, is a document on how the scene would look from that point on. Black Label is a live staple and perfect modernization of bands like Pantera and Machine Head. Like I said, maybe not song, but definitely Lamb of God deserved to be in the spot. And like they said, a lot of people don't realize that, they already had a couple albums out with Burn the Priest before they switched their name to Lamb of God. So, which I thought was stupid anyway. I'm like, why are you gonna let a good band make 2 albums and make them change their fucking name? It's like,
well,
it was kind of the same. It was kind of the same with Light the Torch. You know, they were The Devil You May Know or whatever.
Yeah, The Devil You Know. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you know, they said, no, you can't use that. And, like this was at the time, as if I remember right, it was at the time that they were already making the album. So they already had made the album with that name and everything and play. And then they're like, you gotta change it before the album came out. So it's like, okay, we gotta go redo this whole fucking thing now. So,
yeah. See, I always have a problem. I always kind of have a problem with that. You know, hey, you know, you got to change your name. Look, the people who are going to be offended by a band name, the music is not for those people anyway.
True.
You know what I mean? You know, people who didn't like the name, the people who were going to be offended by the band name Burn the Priest, music wasn't for those people anyway. Right. And the people who were going to be upset at, you know, The Devil You Know, and that's an expression anyway, by the way, right. The Devil You Know. Yeah. I mean, that's you know, that's a fucking expression.
Hey, and if you don't like that, if you don't like those bands, let me introduce you to a band called Coat Hanger Abortion. See how you like that one. So.
or you know, or anal cunt. You know, I mean, for fuck's sake, you know, the music is not going to be for you. So, I mean, you know, it just rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with that. So
yeah.
So that was their top 15 of the new age of heavy metal bands there. So
yeah, I would definitely. I definitely take a little bit of umbrage with Trivium being at 5. But, yeah, I mean it's still a good list for sure.
It is, yeah. It's actually one of the better lists I've seen from you know. Usually I don't do a metal sucks list either. It's usually, you know, Loudwire or something. So it's usually way off.
Yeah.
All right. So
okay.
And then there's a few other headlines. You want to? Would you?
No, you go. Yeah, go ahead and knock out the headlines.
Okay.
Yeah.
So other headlines, we had Albuquerque, New Mexico metal. Always good to hear that even in politics we have metalheads.
Hell yeah, dude.
Fucked Up, the band fucked up. Album one day, written and recorded in just 24 hours. Imagine that. I guess that's why they called it that. That's pretty crazy. I read it wasn't like some kind of, you know, fucked up, you know, title, but no, it actually said in the story that they written and recorded it in 24 hours. I'm like, God damn.
Golly, man.
It's like, we ain't paying for this studio another fucking day.
Yeah.
Then, of course, this is good news for That Art Is Murder fans. They're teasing new material, so look for that in the coming months, probably leading up into the new year, I'm sure. But
at this point, I would say, yeah, 2023.
And Steve DeJourn one song that he wished his Testament would bring back live, and it was Down for Life.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, so he said, yeah, especially with Ardo back on the drum kit. So I said, that would be pretty good. So
you would just have to make sure that Chuck hits his mark.
Yeah, right. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows what. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. I don't think I will ever not laugh at that ever again.
Yeah,
that was so good.
That's going to be a great personal experience, Chuck Billy story. So, so if we ever get a chance to talk to Chuck Billy, we're actually going to bring it up.
Oh, we absolutely are.
We're going to. And of course, never mind. Ivan Moody isn't really retiring from Five Finger Death Punch anymore. So
I know. I mean, everyone's allowed to change their mind. Everyone's allowed to change their mind.
Well, not that quick, but you know.
Well, you think it would have taken a little bit more time.
So I think what happened with that is he kind of said something out of context and it got taken the wrong way. And he's just like, "Hey, look, I'm not fucking retiring, okay?"
That could be.
Band Equilibrium are holding open auditions for a new vocalist. So if anybody's in looking for, can find out all that information over on their socials. That's where I actually seen a lot of it at. So,
Yeah.
Then Pepper Keenan from Corrosional Conformity says they are working on a new album this winter. So, Conformity album next year as well. So, and then Black Sabbath's Tony Iommi becomes a patron at the Wildlife Rescue Center. I think that was probably actually saved like some pigeons or something that escaped. Now you got to be an ambassador.
Well, I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah. And I think we can both agree to this. Judas Priest Ian Hill says it's a pity that Richie Faulkner and Tim Ripper own Judas Priest. And I think that we can definitely escalate that. We would be on the same page with that sentiment. So,
yep. I sure as hell would.
Tim Ripper Owens is ever going to get any credit for being in Judas Priest from Rob Halford, unfortunately. But
yeah. Well, and the funny thing is I think, because I think every member of a band, if they're getting inducted, if they were in the band and contributed at all, if they were a contributor on an album, if they were if they were any sort of member of like a tour for any relatively decent length of time, if the band gets inducted, they should at least their name should at least be said. It's like, hey, so and so played on one album, but he was part of the band for a year and a half. I mean, that should still count, because they still had to, for whatever reason, they still had to go out and hire said performer to replace whoever. Right. So, but obviously it would be like Iron Maiden getting inducted without recognizing Blaze Bayley, for fuck's sake, or a perfect example. Tim Ripper Owens is a perfect example. He was on 2 fucking albums.
Damn good albums too. So
yeah, how the hell? I mean, it just boggles my mind. Boggles my mind.
Oh man, that's that would that would be like we could use probably a number of cases for that to happen, but but yeah, I definitely also there's photos going around the internet where members of Velvet Revolver once dressed up as Guns N' Roses for Halloween, which was fucking hilarious. If you've seen, of course, they didn't take much for Slash to look like Slash.
I was about to say who did Slash dress up as?
Yeah, but it was funny seeing Scott Weiland dressed up as Axl Rose, and it was pretty fucking hilarious. But,
they should have made Slash dress up as one of the other members. They should have.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
You're dressing up as somebody else.
Yeah, that would have been funny. And then, last but not least, Spirit isn't impressed with all the Halloween costume memes. Well, tough shit, because they're fucking funny as hell.
They're so good. I mean, I've seen sports ones, I've seen music ones, and they're
awesome.
my
favorite one was the empty one that said "Absentee Father." That was hilarious. But
I saw one that said "Saint Anger." It was just a picture of the trash can.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. That is very, very good.
Yeah,
and true.
Yeah.
Do you have something else, or?
Yeah, well, like I say, it's not necessarily a news story per se. As I'm going to read the whole thing, but last week I think we touched on Bruce Dickinson escorting an overzealous fan off the stage, during a performance. Well, this has been a little bit ago, but this was back at the end of September, so I'm not sure exactly why it took so long to come out. But on September 21st at Iron Maiden's show in Anaheim, Bruce Dickinson he took a few minutes in between songs to kind of talk about a bunch of people who were smoking weed in the facility. And he was quoted saying, "I don't know what it is. There's so many fucking people smoking so much fucking dope down here. I'm amazed you can even see. Poor old Steve. I don't know if you know, he absolutely fucking hates marijuana and the smell of it. All right. So when he's trying to play bass, it fucks him up. It fucks me up. I'm a singer. All right. So duh." He says, "I would ask for just a tiny bit of respect. If you want to get completely stoned out of your fucking mind, go to the back and do it. All right. Otherwise, you're going to end up like this knucklehead over here." So, and then, Jamie Josta came back on Twitter and said, he said, with all due respect, what doesn't annoy you? And then Des Fafara, he said, let's see, I'm assuming I find what Des said. Des was saying, he said, it's a concert, bro. People smoke weed. He said, true, but he said, and then somebody said, true, but not everyone smokes, nor does everyone like the smell. So I see where Bruce is coming from. And then he said, then Des Fafara said, when he's in that concert hall, he thinks it's his, but it's not. It's the people's. It's the people who bought tickets' house, not the band's house. I've had this argument for years with bands, bro. You're in their town, in their house. You're just a guest.
Right.
Hashtag smoke weed. Well, I mean, it's true to a point.
Yeah.
So I don't.
So that was an indoor facility, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that would be the only problem I would have with it is you're smoking inside a building that. I mean, we've covered enough concert stuff here about fires to know that you really probably shouldn't be smoking inside a fucking building. But
yeah,
if the thing is too is like, were they smoking it like lit smoking it, or were they like doing it through a vape? We don't know. So, I mean, if they were lighting it up, smoking it, then yeah, that's definitely a fire hazard. They probably shouldn't be doing it. But
Well, I mean, from the sound of it, from the context of the story that I read, he said that Steve Harris doesn't like the smell of it. So as far as I know, it was an actual joint. Yeah. So,
well, I mean, the smell can be, the smell's still the same whether you vape it or smoke it.
Oh, well, I mean, so. I don't know from personal experience. I mean, I know what, from being at concerts, I do know what, like, I know what actual weed smells like. And I personally, of course, you personally, know me. I've never done any of that shit.
Right.
So I don't like being around people who are just smoking regular old cigarettes. I don't like the smell of that. I don't like the smell of cigarettes, and I really don't like the smell of weed. And if you're inside, you're not supposed to be smoking inside anymore anyway.
Right.
You're not supposed to be smoking at indoor events.
Yeah.
Whether it's a concert, a sporting event, comedy show, whatever, you're not supposed to be smoking inside.
I mean, I think like the like I said, the whole Great White story should warrant anybody from not wanting to not smoke at a concert. I mean, so.
Okay, we're both reading a comment. At the moment, so.
Some people don't like the smell of perfume or farts. Well, that's true too.
Well, that's definitely true. So I think what it all basically boils down to is, I think it boils down to a respect issue, really, because you're in close proximity with a lot of people, and especially like if you're inside, So to whoever wrote that. Like I say, all I can see on my screen right here, all it says is Facebook user. So I'm not exactly sure who posted this comment, but thank you for posting. I think what it boils down to, like I say, for me, is you're inside. Like if you're out, like if you're at an amphitheater outside, like if you're at Starwood or if you're at one of these outdoor festivals, like at Blue Ridge, I guarantee you there was William, hey buddy, it's William.
Yeah, okay,
William's in the house. So I think for me personally, like if I'm inside, that shit can't go anywhere, really. So,
exactly.
And before I go any further, I want to say this: I am pro legalization of weed. I am, but at the same time, thank you, William. We appreciate you. We love you too, buddy. Speaking of which, William, while you're paying attention, I showed Jason last night your little interaction that you had.
Oh my God, that was great
with that dude from that radio station. I can't remember the call letters for that radio station, but on your pay to play post on Facebook, we saw the back and forth you were having with that dude from that radio station, and we just want to say we appreciate the Randy Savage elbow drop.
Yeah.
So we definitely appreciate that. So. But back to what I was saying, for me personally, the way I feel about it, if I'm inside and because people know, these people who do this, they know they're not supposed to be going to go crazy. I'm sure you are going to go crazy on the live feed. these people who bring this stuff into account, they know they're not supposed to smoke inside, whether it's cigarettes or weed. They know they're not supposed to. And so when these people are all bunched up in a group like this, they're like, hey, people, hey, but bust out that joint you brought in, bust out that joint. First of all, you're breaking a rule.
Right.
And I know I sound like I'm a metalhead. I know I might sound like a square, whatever. I don't care. You don't know who's allergic to what. You don't know if someone's allergic to smoke. You don't know who's allergic to that. And then, I think Bruce has a point. If he doesn't like the smell of weed and he's getting smoke in his throat, he's trying to sing and perform for you.
True.
And if something fucks up his throat and then he can't perform and he has to cut the concert short, you're going to be pissed because his throat's fucked up and he can't sing anymore. And, if Steve Harris can't play, if Steve Harris is getting a whiff of it and it makes him sick because he doesn't like it and he can't play anymore, can't play the bass anymore, they got to cut the show short, so for me, basically brass tacks, it just all comes down. It basically just all comes down to respect.
And the thing is, I don't know how that it was in Canada, right?
No, it was in Anaheim, California.
Oh, California. Okay. I don't know why.
And I know that weed is legal in California.
Well, that's not the fact. I mean, the thing I was going to say is I'm sure there's a smoking area there. I mean, there has been at every venue that we've went to.
Right.
So, I mean, why can't you just go out to the smoking area at the proper time and smoke your weed out there where it's not bothering anybody? And then go back in and high and enjoy the show if that's the way you want to enjoy it. I mean, nobody's telling you can't, nobody's mad because you're smoking the weed. It's the fact that first you're indoors, you probably shouldn't be smoking anything. Like I said, if it was a lit one, then it definitely shouldn't have been done. If it was a vape, I kind of get it. But then again, like you said, you are kind of putting the performer in a spot to where, he's probably having to say shit he probably didn't even want to say to begin with. So,
right.
And he's probably thinking too, it should be common sense. I probably shouldn't have to tell you, but
yeah. And I mean, Bruce even said, if you want to smoke it, go in the back and do it. So I mean,
but I mean, and then again, what's going to be the difference between that and like a fog machine is?
Well, I mean, that's true. That argument can be made. I'm not trying to. That is true.
I think maybe what a lot of the bands were just saying that maybe it was ticking a little bit further than it should have been. Maybe I guess.
That may be true. That may be true, but I think I take a little bit of. I think I might I love Desafara, I love Cold Chamber, and I love Devil Driver, but at the same time, sure, a band is a guest in someone's town and at someone's concert venue, but at the same time, the people that go to the concert venue, they're guests at the venue and they got to follow the venue's rules too. So I mean,
so I want to read.
They don't want you smoking inside. Don't fucking smoke inside.
I'm going to read this from William. He said, "I'm just glad to be back at concerts. So I just follow the rules, and I have also learned so much about other people and awareness, having compassion and civility to my neighbors and fellow humans' health and respect needs. Life is about adding value and safety and fun of others. At this sensitive time of healing and trust, why not go the extra mile and take care of our neighbors a little more because of the events we all have had to recover from." And that's perfectly said. That's
a perfect way to say it. I mean, yeah, you want to. I mean, like I say, I'm pro legalization of weed, and even when it happens here in Tennessee, I'm never going to smoke it because I don't want to.
Well, but like I said, that's your choice,
right? That's what I'm saying. So I mean, yeah, there's you want to go outside and fire one up. Wait in between sets and go fire one up. Come back and enjoy the next band.
You know how many friends I talked to from growing up, but not many because a lot of them do that shit and I didn't. Mm-hmm. So they kind of shut me out, but there was a long time there that I didn't do those things. And mainly because, they were my rides home and I didn't want to get killed trying to get home. But
well, there you go. There you go.
So I would drive. I was like, you fucked up all you want to, but I'm not doing it because if we're leaving, if we're staying somewhere, fine. But if you're saying, hey, we're going to try to get back home, then I'm not. No,
right.
Somebody's got to stay responsible and get us where we're going. But
yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing of having 6 or 8 beers at a show and you can't drive home. It's the same damn thing.
I'm actually glad William's on. So, while that's on my mind, I want to let everybody know out there, artistic wise, if you're an artist or anything, Sepsis is looking for someone to design their new album cover. So,
there you go.
So if you want to head over and check out Sepsis, that is SEPSISS, 2 S's. So, So you want to check them out on their socials. They're actually doing a little contest there, and he tweets whatever. But I would gladly make room for another person if they said it was truly lowering the quality of the show. Yeah, I mean that's what you know. Like I said, that's what you had. They're all there. We're all there to have a good time. We're all there to support the same band. So
yeah, there's always room for a little bit of compromise. Even like Jason has said. The venues do even make, concessions for the people who do smoke, whether it be cigarettes or even in the states and cities where, weed is legal. It just so happens to be you may have to go outside. And if it's cold, that's on you. Because, if you're
right.
Smoke, but yeah, it is I think, again, I think William basically pretty much said it exactly the perfect way. So many people are just like me, I'm going to do me. And you just gotta think.
That's kind of what's wrong with the world, though, man.
It is. It's like a microcosm. Sure, it absolutely is. I think it is.
But yeah. So anyway, to get back to the subject, if you're an artist out there and you want to help Sepsis design their new album cover, they have a list of what they're looking for over on their socials. So if you want to check them out over there and design some art from, I've already seen 1 or 2 pictures. They look pretty cool. So.
They absolutely will respond.
Yes, they will. They're very responsive. They're very responsive.
They absolutely will respond.
Yeah.
So
very responsive. So let's put it this way: we interviewed this band probably March or April of this year.
It was in the spring. Yeah, I can't remember the exact date.
So and they're still, and we still got a relationship with this band, which is awesome.
Yep,
and that's one of the reasons we love doing what we do. So William is very opinionated. Well, he's sorry, and he knows where. The thing is that he knows what he's not going to settle for anything less, and I don't see a damn thing wrong with that.
No, absolutely not.
I think honestly is you know what you want, and you know where you want to go with it, and And if anything else is standing in the way and it's not going to get you to that point, then you don't entertain it.
Right.
That's just how it is. He may get flack from these radio stations, but they heard half the fucking bands that we know. So,
yeah.
So fuck them. They don't know shit no way. They just playing whatever they're. So who gives a shit what they think?
Right.
But yeah, so anyway. But yeah, I
think I just wanted to kind of talk about that real quick. Because we've heard plenty of times of performers, stopping shows to bitch people out. Dave Mustaine does it all the time. And we got to see it firsthand in Nashville when they were here. So just wanted to, and I know that.
And if you're a Judas Priest roadie touching their shit,
well, yeah, but no, I'm kidding. Doing a sound check while they're playing. But I know that especially in this country, the whole subject of marijuana can not as much as it used to be. It's getting, but it's still kind of a divisive topic and a touchy subject. And then, so when, especially two performers that, we're fans of, they're on opposite ends of the spectrum as far as their opinions on the matter. I figure we would just at least take a minute to touch on it. So,
yeah, it's actually not a bad topic. So, like I said, I think it, may have gotten more, insight and publicity from the story than it should have, but
maybe.
for one, I wasn't there. There's no pictures of what they were, how they were smoking it. So I can't. Like I said, you don't want to smoke anything with a lighter indoors. I mean, that's just that's pretty much a no-no these days. So if you ever want to know a reason why and what happens, just go watch the Great White documentary, and it'll show you exactly why you don't do anything with pyros and fire on the inside of a building. So that's why a lot of the indoor shows now didn't have pyro. They have a more
light. It's all light. It's all light shows now. Yeah.
Move this bad boy along here. Move this way along. So hitting the road real quick. I got a few here. So Black Veil Brides have announced a 9-date UK tour for February 2023. Those shows will kick off in Norwich on Valentine's Day and wrap up in London on February 25th. And tickets are on sale now. So all UK fans, if you're a Black Veil Bride fan, then see where they are coming near you. And next one I had was High on Fire, Municipal Waste, Jail, and Early Moods. They are going to hit the road in December for a couple of weeks. It's like 12/1. They're going to kick off in Hampton Beach, New Hampshire at Wally's, and then end up on December the 11th in Tampa, Florida at the Orpheum. And then I had Undeath and Celestial Sanctuary announced a 2023 UK tour. Kicks off on January 27th in Glasgow, UK at the Flying Duck, and ends on February 2nd in London at the Black Heart. And then Iron Maiden added 5 dates to their European tour, which kicks off in June 3rd at the Tampere, Finland at the Nokia Arena, and ends on July 22nd in Bilbao, Spain. I probably said that wrong, but that's okay. At the Biscay Arena, Beck. So it's crazy to hear bands already talking about June of next year tours. It's like, damn.
Oh hell! Speaking of Iron Maiden, I saw something where their Future Past tour, where they're gonna focus on 2 albums in general, is gonna go into 2024.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, I'm still hoping that that Priest comes out with something new. We know they are, so hopefully it comes out pretty quick in early 2023, because I think that's one of the things Bruce wants to do before they retire is tour with Priest. So I don't know if I'll be able to afford the tickets, but I'll sell a kidney or something.
I'm about to say, sign me up for that. Yeah.
And then the last one I had was, of course, Parkway Drive, Memphis Mayfire, and Currents. They announced their first tour since 2019. That's going to kick off on January 22nd. They're going to be on Shiprocked for that week, 22nd through the 28th. And then they will end that tour in Orlando, Florida on February 18th at the Heart Support Festival. And they will be coming through Nashville at Marathon Music Works on February 14th. So needless to say, I will probably be at that show. So
yeah, the only I had that one too, but the 2 notes that I have that you didn't mention is that Currents won't be on Shiprocked and they won't be at the festival. So they'll be on the tour with the exception of the very start and the very end.
Right.
So.
And that's all I had. So
okay,
I know you got more. So
yeah. Well, I don't have too much more. Like I said, there
wasn't a lot of tours. So.
There really wasn't a lot. Over at and I got everything I got from the PRP.com this week. I've got Sleeping with Sirens and Don Bracco are going to Europe in 2023, starting February 20th in Milan, Italy at the Magazzini Generali, and they're going to finish on March 11th in Paris, France at the Cabaret Sauvage. Incubus is going on a mini tour in 2023, 4 dates at the very, very end of January, the beginning of February. January 31st in Corpus Christi, Texas at the American Bank Center at the Selena Auditorium. February 2nd in San Antonio, Texas at the Techport Center and Arena. February 3rd in Houston, Texas at the 713 Music Hall. And February 4th in New Orleans at the Fillmore. Then Polyphia is going on a U.S. headlining tour. The openers have not been announced yet, But that tour will start March 24th of 23 in Nashville at Marathon Music Works and finish on April 14th in Dallas, Texas at the Factory in Deep Ellum. And then I will definitely be able to hear the eye rolls from here on this one. We've got Ghost and Spirit Box going on a tour of France in 2023, starting May 21st in Rouen, France at Zenith, and finishing May 30th in Nice at the Palais Nicolas.
Maybe Ghost to get trapped in the Spirit Box. So.
Maybe, yeah. And other than all the ones you had, that's it.
Oh, nice.
That is it. This has been the shortest hit in the road segment since I think we started.
Yeah. Well, like
it was bound to happen.
Well, yeah, we're coming up to the end of the year, and a lot of people are. I mean, like I said, if we're talking about tours now, it's pretty much the first, beginning of next year. So.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. Unless it's one of these bands that has one of these little like Northeast mini tours where they're just going to go like on a 3 or 4 day jaunt around the Northeast or something.
There was a lot of 2-week tours on there. This which is crazy. Like I never considered that kind of a tour, but things have changed since the 90s, I guess.
Yeah.
When bands did that shit in the 90s, they had like a whole like track out for like 2 or 3 months, and then it didn't come back around for a second leg, kind of like the Bay Strikes Back did. Their stuff, and then they did a second leg and had had a couple of months there. So
yeah. And in Tommy Lee's case, a third leg. So I mean,
there you go. Yeah, third leg. Yeah. It was on his own tour of his own.
It was on a solo tour.
All right, I guess we will switch over to this week in metal history then. Got a couple of things here. So October 23rd, 1995, Def Leppard gave themselves a place in the Guinness Book of World Records by playing 3 gigs in 3 continents in 24 hours. They played in Tangier, London, and Vancouver. Or Tangier, I don't know. Is that
it is Tangier.
That's what I thought, yeah. So,
Tangier, London, and
Vancouver in 24 hours.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
They still ain't played on 7 continents.
No, they haven't. No one's done it since.
No, that's crazy. October 26, 1984, 19-year-old John D. McCullum killed himself with a .22 caliber handgun after spending the day listening to Ozzy Osbourne records. 1 year later, McCullum's parents took court action against Ozzy and CBS Records, alleging that the song Suicide Solution from the album Blizzard of Oz contributed to their son's death. The case was eventually thrown out of court because that is just stupid to blame any of your mental issues on a fucking song. So, speaking of which, if you have mental issues, get help.
Well, of course, absolutely.
And what was the number for like 988, right?
988. Yep, the suicide prevention hotline. It is 988. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And in October 26, 2008, AC/DC went number 1 on the UK album chart with Black Ice, the Australian band's 15th studio album, which went on to become number 1 hit in 29 different countries and the second best-selling album of 2008. That's crazy. Number 1 in 29 different countries. Man.
That's awesome.
October 28, 2011, the organizers of a planned Metallica concert in India were arrested after the show was called off, leading fans of the band to destroy the stage and vandalize equipment. Metallica had been booked to play in Delhi on Friday, but they postponed the show after a security banner in front of the stage collapsed. The 4 promoters of the gig were arrested on fraud charges after they refused to refund tickets. Around 25,000 people had purchased tickets to see what would have been Metallica's first ever concert in India, which is bad on Metallica because it wasn't even nothing. All that was out of their control. So, it's kind of
especially
promoter issues. So
yeah, well, I mean, when something happens. When something happens with something that's supposed to be meant for security, whether it's the security of the band, the security of the fans, and it's irreparable, then don't have the show. Because I mean, you got tens of thousands of people at a venue. I mean, as we saw with what happened to that Astral World shit, people can die.
Right. Yeah.
People can die.
Well, I think it's like, why couldn't they fix it and then like have the show again 3 or 4 days later? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know that. Yeah,
that's kind of wild. But
there's a lot of like why. So I mean, They're definitely.
Well, no, it sounds like they were
there
just
is.
trying to rip people off to begin with. What it sounds like.
Well, that may be. But
October 28, 2008, a statue honoring AC/DC's Bon Scott was unveiled at the Fremantle Fishing Boat Harbor in Western Australia. Although born in Scotland, Scott grew up in Fremantle, after his family immigrated to Australia in 1952. Bond started out his newfound Australian life in Melbourne. His family lived in the suburb of Sunshine for 4 years before moving to Fremantle. So that is why it is there and not in Scotland. So there you go. And that's all of the weekend history I have for you today. So
all right. Well, as has happened the past couple of weeks, I'm going to try to blow through this as quickly as I can, because for those of you who don't know, like I said, I lost about 3 months worth of notes from last year for all my dates. So I guarantee you some of these I've already said. That's why I'm trying to run through them as quickly as I can, and I've also kind of skimped on the information. So I'm just basically gonna go date, band, album. So
I'm trying not to blow too hard because my microphone I cut off because it's set up for that. So I've been drinking all morning. So
there you go. All right. So this week in metal history is still brought to you guys by This Day in Metal and Dr. Feelgood and Ms. Hyde on Twitter and Facebook, respectively. For the week of October 22nd through the 28th, we start off with 10/22/91. Death releases Human and Shotgun Messiah releases Second Coming. 10/22/01. Sodom releases M16 and Gravedigger releases The Gravedigger. Hardcore Superstar releases Thank You for Letting Us. 10/22/21, UDO releases Game Over, and Dream Theater releases A View from the Top of the World. 10/22/10, Forbidden releases Omega Wave, and Virgin Steel releases the Blacklight Bacchanalia. 10/22/13, Metal Church releases Generation Nothing. 10/22/14, Riot V, which is 5, releases Unleash the Fire. 10/22/74, Kiss releases Hotter Than Hell. 10/22/96, Ugly Kid Joe releases Motel California. 10/22/12, Stone Sour releases House of Gold and 1. 10/23/95, Ozzy Osbourne releases Osmosis. 10/23/15, Amberian Dawn releases Innuendo. 10/23/20, Leaves Eyes releases The Last Viking, and Armored Saint releases Punching the Sky. 10/23/06, Mob Rules release Ethnolution AD. 10/23/90, Lynch Mob releases Wicked Sensation. King's X releases Faith, Hope, Love, and Exhorter releases Slaughter in the Vatican. 10/24/95, Anthrax releases Stomp 442, and Sabotage releases Dead Winter Dead. 10/24/01, Domine releases Stormbringer Ruler, and Yorn releases World Changer. 10/24/08, Secret Sphere releases Sweet Blood Theory. Vendetta releases Brain Damage, and Axel Ruby Pell releases Tales of the Crown. 10/24/07, Avatar releases Schlacht. 10/24/2000, Overkill releases Bloodletting, and Linkin Park releases Hybrid Theory. 10/24/86, Striper releases To Hell with the Devil. 10/24/03, Bullet Boys release Sophie. 10/24/06, Skid Row releases Revolutions Per Minute. 10/25/04, Behemoth releases Demigod. 10/25/19, Vision Divine releases When All of the Heroes Are Dead, and Airborne releases Bone Shaker. 10/25/10, Firewind releases Days of Defiance. 10/25/90, Victory releases Temples of Gold. 10/25/94, Merciful Fate releases Time. 10/25/06, Europe releases Secret Society. 10/25/2017, Love Bites release Awakening from Abyss. 10/25/93, Dio releases Strange Highway. 10/25/96, Steelheart releases Wait. 10/25/13, Sepultura releases The Mediator Between Head and Hands Must Be the Heart, and Cataclysm releases Waiting for the End to Come. 10/26/99, Dream Theater releases Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory. 10/26/92, Creator releases Renewal. 10/26/18, Serenia releases Arcane Astral Aeons. 10/26/12, Ordinogan releases To the End. Camelot releases Silverthorn, and Parkway Drive releases Atlas. 10/26/09, Halford releases Halford 3, Winter Songs. 10/26/04, LA Guns release Hollywood Raw, The Original Sessions. 10/26/07, Exodus releases The Atrocity Exhibition Exhibit A. 10/27/85, Celtic Frost releases 2 Omega Therion. 10/27/17, Serenity releases Lionheart, and Hollywood Undead releases 5. 10/27/97, Rhapsody releases Legendary Tales, and In Flames releases Horacle. 10/27/79, Motorhead releases Bomber. 10/27/09, Winger releases Karma. And 10/28/02, Behemoth releases Zos Kia Cultus, Here and Beyond. Hammerfall releases Crimson Thunder. 10/28/14, At the Gates releases At War with Reality. 10/28/08, Cradle of Filth releases Godspeed on the Devil's Thunder. 10/28/05, Halloween releases Keeper of the Seven Keys, The Legacy. 10/28/1989, Bolt Thrower releases Realm of Chaos, Slaves to Darkness. 10/28/16, Testament releases Brotherhood of the Snake, and Avenged Sevenfold releases The Stage. 10/28/03, Devil Driver releases Devil Driver. 10/28/97, Kiss releases Carnival of Souls, The Final Sessions, and last but not least, 10/28/11, Steel Panther releases Balls Out. So those are all of the metal releases from the 22nd through the 28th this week in metal history.
All right. And that will take us into our top 10 metal songs of the week, which we're keeping the Halloween theme kind of going here this week. We decided to go with vampires. So we've done wolves and we've done spirits. So vampires it is.
Yep.
I think I got 12 maybe. I think I got 12 just in case, but because it is kind of a more narrowed subject.
Yeah, a little bit more precise.
I didn't really expect it to be as well. Of course, you found a little trick to it, so
I did. So,
but anyway, here's my contributions here. My very first one was from Ice Nine Kills, Bloodbath and Beyond, from every trick in the book from 2015. That is a Dracula themed song there. So.
And speaking of Ice Nine Kills, real quick, I know I showed you last night. And I know you've seen it, and I shared it to the Facebook page. But you guys, if you're out there, and if you're members of the Facebook group, you can watch it there. But if you're not, if you haven't seen, if you want to Google Ice Nine Kills Halloween lights, there's a YouTuber on there who's got his house decorated for Halloween, and he's got all of his lights programmed and set up to the song Assault and Batteries by Ice Nine Kills, and all the lights and everything, they're kind of synchronized, all that. It's fucking awesome. So you should check that out.
And then my second one here was from Godsmack Vampires, of course, from a week in 2000. Next one I took was Avenged Sevenfold Bat Country from City of Evil 2005. You like that play on words?
Oh yeah.
Then next one I took was Dark Funeral Nosferatu from We Are the Apocalypse in 2022. I was able to find a lot of new songs like that came out this year, which was pretty cool.
Well, that's cool.
Next one I took was Rob Zombie, Teenage Nosferatu Pussy, just because it's funny as shit to say.
Yeah, it is.
From the Venomous Rat Regeneration Vendor 2013. And he also has the craziest album names I've ever fucking heard. So.
Ever.
Slayer, At Dawn They Sleep from Hell Awaits in 1985. Then I had Atreyu, A Vampire's Lament from Suicide Notes and Butterfly Kisses in 2002. Then I went with Devil Driver, Hold Back the Day from The Fury of Our Maker's Hand in 2005.
That's a great song.
Then I went with Queensryche's Nocturnal Light from the Digital Noise Alliance album that just came out a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Yep. So then I also took another one from this year from the Nocturnal Affair, Exoskeleton. That's actually a play on words from the band name, Nocturnal. So then that was from the Metamorphosis album this year. Then I took Black Majesty, Vlad the Impaler from Cross of Thorns in 2015.
Nice.
And then last but not least, I took Powerwolf, We Drink Your Blood from Blood of the Saints in 2011. So, So I figured you would have a Powerwolf song. There's like 2 there, so if you did,
I do.
if you did that one, we can go with the other one. So
yeah, and man, Powerwolf doesn't disappoint here lately, have they?
no, they're definitely on the Halloween
Yeah.
list a lot. So
Yeah, they are.
know, that Nice Nine Kills, you can't. I mean, Nice Nine Kills probably got anything for everything Halloween. So.
They pretty much do. Yeah, they got it covered. All right, so for my top 10, and I know I told you this last night, so I'm gonna fill everybody in because you mentioned a trick, a quote unquote, a trick that I found.
Yeah.
I actually ended up with 17, and what I did is I got to like when I was building my top 10, I got to like 7, and I got stuck a little bit, so I ran into a little bit of writer's block, more or less. So what I did was, and I did this last week with spirits, and it kind of worked out. What I did is I went to Encyclopedia Metallum, and which is a website we've used for a lot of stuff, and we've mentioned it here plenty of times. So what I did was I did a song title search, and I just started like going through, and just like if a band actually I take it back. I clicked on every band and just kind of like read up on them real quick, and then kind of like took a look at what kind of songs they had and everything else. Well, I ended up finding seven songs. Of course, they're all about vampires. I found 7 songs on top of my 10. So basically, I almost decided to do a double top 10, but I just stopped at 17 because I ran out of time. So my top 10, my official top 10 here anyway. The first song I went with was "Avoid the Light" by Pantera off the Dracula 2000 movie soundtrack from 2000. Then I went with "Cry Little Sister" by Seasons After off of Through Tomorrow from 2010. And if you're wondering what the fuck that's got to do with vampires, it's actually it's actually a cover of the theme song to the Lost Boys from 1987. So in case anybody didn't know that, that's the tie-in. Then I also went with "At Dawn They Sleep" by Slayer from Hello 8's 1985. Then, Jason, as you mentioned, I went with "Vampires Don't Die" by Powerwolf off of Lupus Day from 2007. Then I went with "Nosferatu, the Vampire's Waltz" by Saxon off of Thunderbolt from 2018. Then I went with "Dracula" by Iced Earth off of Horror Show from 2001. Then I went with "Love Bites" from Judas Priest from Defenders of the Faith from 1984. I went with "Dracula" by Mystic Prophecy off of Metal Division from 2020. I also went with "Teenage Nosferatu Pussy" by Rob Zombie off the Venomous Rat Regeneration Vendor from 2013. Then I went with, this one's an instrumental, but I went with it anyway because it's like 3.5 minutes long and it's just fucking nonstop shredding. So I don't know why it's about Nosferatu, but the name of the track is Nosferatu from Coroner off of their album R.I.P. from 1987. So
which Iced Earth track did you pick? I couldn't remember what you said. So
Dracula off of Horror Show.
I thought that's instrumental too, right?
No.
I thought it was for some reason.
I'm pretty sure it's not. But yeah, like normally I wouldn't have picked an instrumental because there were actually, while I was doing my Encyclopedia Metallum search, I actually came across a few instrumentals that were okay. But then when I listened to the Coroner one, I was kind of like blown away by the guitar work. I was like, yeah, that one's going to go on there. Then my honorable mentions, and I made sure to note the subgenre and then the location of the band, because every single one of these bands is a foreign band, not from the United States, obviously, since that's where we are. So I know a lot of you are overseas, and so some of these bands may be local to you guys, but they will not be to us. So the first 4 tracks are all titled Vampire, because that was the initial search that I went through. So I have "Vampire" by a band called Anguish Force off of their self-titled album from 2003. They are a power/thrash metal band from Bolzano, Italy. The next Vampire track is by La Corriveau off of their album Soul Possession from 2007. They are a groove metal band from Quebec, Canada. Then we've got "Vampire" by Raging Fate off of their album Gods of Terror from 2017. They're a thrash metal band from Karlskoga, Sweden. Then we've got "Vampire" by Tenfold off of their album Seclusion from 2018. They're a metalcore thrash heavy metal band from Teresina, Brazil. And this particular, I've never really heard of this band before this week, and I don't know a whole lot about their about their discography, but the lead singer, you could close your eyes and you would swear it's Matt Heafy.
Really?
It's really fucking weird. And so even in the YouTube videos, somebody mentions like, dude, you sound just like Matt Heafy. And the guy responded, he's like, yeah, I took I have a lot of influence from Trivium. So,
oh, cool.
So yeah, so that's very cool. So yeah, they're from Brazil. And I take it back. There is one American band, so you'll have to forgive me there. We've got Vampire State by a band called Aggressive Betty off of the album of the same name from 2017. They are a groove metal band from Rochester, New York. Then we have King Vampire from Bloodline off of their album King Vampire from 2018. They're a power metal band from Concepcion, Chile. So another South American band. And then we have High Gate Vampire by Existence off of their album Wolf Attack from 2021. They're a heavy metal band from Clermont, France. So,
nice.
So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So some new music on top of the themed music. So
yeah. So
can't go wrong. So
I'm telling you. So yeah, we'll as usual we'll get the we'll get the playlist collaborated and we'll get it posted as soon as we possibly can, and we'll have, as usual, we'll have the 24-hour link available to all the Facebook members to add any songs they may see fit that sticks with the theme of vampires. We actually had somebody on this past week's list for Spirits show up on the list as a collaborator, but they didn't add any songs. So that was kind of strange, but it was nice to see that somebody halfway took advantage of the collaboration link. So that was kind of nice.
They could have marked it just to listen to it too, I guess. But
I guess that's true. I guess they could have done that too, but so yeah, if you guys,
which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine too. Any members of the group, once the list is posted, like I say, you guys will have 24 hours to kind of add anything you want. So and then anyone who's not a member of the Facebook group, like always, if you go to Spotify and you want to check out the playlist, just search for Metalheads Unite, you'll find us. So
all right, I guess we can go over into album reviews.
Yep.
There was a long list of albums this week, so
damn. Oh, there it is. Okay, my mouse wasn't working for a second. There it goes. All right.
It's because the cat was in the room.
Actually, he's not at the moment. He's out on the deck.
I thought I seen him come back in.
Well, he's been in and out. He can't make up his damn mind. Oh. So right now he's out on the deck. So
I must have missed him going back out. So. So, anyway, I chose the an album from the band Excessus. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It's Excessus. That's what it looks like. So, kitty.
Yeah.
It was a band Excessus. The album was Synapse. Excessus is from Barcelona, Catalonia, Spain. They are a thrash metal band from there, active since 2012. The current good thing is they're unsigned and independent, so they might as well might as well expect an email. So,
right? Yeah, I know.
The current members are Gerard Colomer on bass, Ferran Montesel on guitars, Ivan EXE. I don't know if it's XE or X. I guess either way, he's on vocals and guitar. Then we had Victor Garcia on drums. It looks like Victor may be the only newest member of the band. He just joined in 2020, so he wasn't on the first album, but he's on this one. So, which I haven't listened to the first album yet, but I do want to go back and listen to it after listening to this one. So. This is the band's second full-length album. It's a little lengthy, 13 songs. It's an hour and 10 minutes.
Damn.
Yeah, musically.
Get your money's worth there.
Yeah. Musically, it has, you can tell, I guess being a thrash metal band too kind of plays that influence, but you can definitely hear some like early Metallica in there maybe. Especially like, I know one of the songs reminded me of Fight Fire with Fire, stuff like that. So stuff like that. So you kind of had like that old school Metallica feel. and then vocally, the majority of the time, I got like a hate breed type vibe from the vocals. And then too, there was sometimes I was like, man, that sounds like Creator a little bit. So it's got a little bit. It's a little bit all over the place with the influence vocally, but
That's
musically,
fine.
musically, definitely. I felt like it was like a 1986 thrash revisited album, I guess, which isn't a bad thing at all, you know. But like I said, it's a little lengthy, but it's definitely worth checking out. I know one of the songs on there is I think like 10, 11 minutes. So that's
Oof.
probably took up a lot of it, I think. So actually, I have to go back and look at it real quick.
That definitely skews the curve.
Yeah. Let me check it out real quick just to make sure I'm not telling you wrong info here. It was actually 12 minutes and 37 seconds.
Whoa.
So it's a little lengthy, and then
That's an epic.
And then they got an extended version of one of the previous tracks, Pass, which is like track number 4. But at the end, they got an extended version of that, and it's 7 minutes long. So,
okay,
so two extra minutes of the extended version of that song. So
that's kind of like that. Kind of reminds me of the last Witherfall album. They had one song that had a radio edit that was like 3.5 minutes long, but the original version was over fucking 15.
Yeah. And then they had like a throw in, like they threw in like a 2-minute instrumental in like track 9, so that was kind of odd. But
that's a little bit of an odd placement. Yeah,
not necessarily a total deal breaker, but at least it wasn't like a 30-second guitar string into the song. But
like or one of those Slipknot interludes. Yeah.
yeah.
We love you, Corey.
Yeah, well, they all try something sometimes.
Well, yeah, they do.
And also, it's a badass album cover too. So if you get a chance to look
okay, wait a minute, hang on.
Tight, so.
okay, album cover time. All right, hold on. Okay, all right. So how do you spell the band name?
It's EXESSUS.
EXEXSUS. Okay. All right. EXEXSUS?
No, SSUS.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
EXESUXS. There we go. Oh, shit. They're on Encyclopedia Metallum. That helps. That always helps.
They are. Yeah, they are. So.
All right. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's check this out. Let's do this right here. New. Want a new snippet. Dude, I love this. I love this little snippet tool that my damn computer has.
Awesome. Snippet tools are like, they're like my way of life at work. So I use snippet tools a lot. So
yeah. Okay. All right. So let's see what we got here. We are going to. Why will you not move? There we go. All right. We're going to screen share this bitch. We are going to share this screen. Yes, we are. We're going to share that window right there. That snipping tool. All right. So there is the album cover.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's almost like I don't know, like a futuristic spaceship into like a Milky Way type. I don't know. It's pretty.
Looks like it's coming out of a wormhole or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so, which is pretty cool. Like it.
Yeah, so that's badass. I like that.
Kind of I like their way they design their logo too. It's pretty cool. So.
Yeah, that font's pretty badass. Yeah. Yep, I dig that. Nice. Very cool. Again, you can't fuck with the album covers in this genre. You just can't do it.
No, can't do it.
Cannot do it. Did you get a chance to listen to anything else?
No, actually. So I didn't get to finish out with it, but I was actually this album got 4 horns from me. So
all right, cool.
So there you go. I did listen to some other stuff, but not, I need to go back and I listened to that album Diggeth.
Oh yeah, you showed me.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
0 Hour in Doomtown, which I didn't listen to it enough to develop a good opinion on it. So like I said, I usually try to listen to it at least twice all the way through before I give a opinion on them, just because I feel like at first listen you miss stuff, because you know, and then again, you know how it is. Some things play more than once; it kind of grows on you. So,
Of course.
so, so you
Yeah,
don't want to
absolutely.
jump the gun and start talking bad about some stuff, and then it
Well,
kind of
yeah,
fall.
yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, I list my review this week is on the new album Two Shadows from a not even technically a band by Hoaxed. They are a it is a duo of female performers. You have Kat Ko and Kim Kofel. Let's see. And I actually wasn't able really even to find a ton of formal information about them because they're not on Encyclopedia Metallum or Spirit of Metal. But they are a dark rock band out of Portland, Oregon. The new album is 9 songs long, 27 minutes, 44 seconds. So it's almost like just like a overgrown EP kind of. The longest track I think was like 5 minutes, which is fine. You have singer guitar player Kat Ko and drummer Kim Kofel. They were together in other projects. The story that I'm reading doesn't have those other project listed, um, but the story that I'm reading kind of describes them as they walk the line between heavy melodic rock and gothic metal with captivating lyrics, catchy hooks, sharp guitars, and a heavy pulsating rhythm. Which I kind of disagree with the last part. Um, it's kind of it's got a gothic feel to it that I can agree with. I don't really think there's much that's heavy about it. It's like it's kind of like a lighter version of like stoner metal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, it's don't get me wrong, it's not bad. Both of the ladies take turns singing a lot of times, like together, because they're both at like different keys, so you can hear that they're both singing because one's singing a little higher than the other. It's kind of got like like a deliberate pace to it. It's not super duper up tempo. To me, it's not really heavy at all, but it is dark at the same time. So I get the gothic aspect of it. I kind of do get that feel, but I wouldn't call it heavy at all. Not
The metalstorm .net has them listed as hard rock. So
that would probably be like how I would classify them. You know, dark rock, hard
mhm.
rock, goth goth gothic metal. No, gothic rock maybe. Um, you know, that being said, I listened to the whole album and I enjoyed it. I did
Mhm.
enjoy it. I wouldn't say I loved it necessarily. There weren't any guitar solos, which kind of sucked, but I mean, um, but that still doesn't mean that still doesn't take away from the fact that they're both talented musicians.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, I'm gonna give it 3 horns.
Cool.
So yeah, it wasn't bad. Like I say, it wasn't what I was expecting, but that's never, well, I'm not going to say never, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, it wasn't heavy, wasn't super duper up tempo. No, there were really no guitar solos to speak of.
Mhm.
As you could probably guess, with 9 tracks and 27 minutes, each track averages 3 minutes. So, you know, it was an easy listen. Don't get me wrong. I got through it real quick. So no
Mhm.
problems there. So yeah, I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5. It's worth a listen
Okay.
for sure. It's worth a
All right.
listen. The only other
Yeah, that
thing
I did.
the
Oh,
only
go
other
ahead.
thing I listened to, and I'm not all the way through it yet. I listened to Consume and Waste, the debut
Inner
album,
urge.
actually. Yeah, from Inner
Mhm.
Urge. That's actually their debut album. So I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tracks into a 9-song album. So I'm 2/3 of the way through. 9 tracks, 52 minutes on the nose. So I mean, I kind of do like what I'm hearing so far, but I'm gonna finish it all the way before I do anything formal on it. I may, if I have time, I may do a write up. So
Yeah, I did. I did get 3 songs into the new "Fit for a King" too, which so far it's pretty badass. So,
yeah.
which I didn't expect anything less from him, but
Sure.
So what have we got to look
Yeah.
forward to next week?
All right. Let's see.
Hopefully the list isn't as long.
Well, I mean, even if it is, we do what we can with it. Yeah. So for Friday, November 4th,
There's a lot
it
of
does.
re-releases last week too, though. So
Yeah. I'm not. I can't without doing an actual count. I can't say whether or not this list is longer or shorter. It looks shorter, but honestly, not by much. So anyway, for Friday, November 4th, we have 9 Dead with a self-titled album. We have 96 Bitter Beings with Synergy Restored. We have Acid Witch with Rot Among Us, with Avarice with White Elephant, Alive in Barcelona with Flatline, that is an EP. We have Atomic Witch with Crypt of Sleepless Malice. We have Aurora Borealis with Prophecy is the Mold in Which History is Poured. Avoid with Cult Mentality, Black Anvil with Regenesis, Black Mirrors with Tomorrow Will Be Without Us, Botch with We Are the Romans, that's a re-release. We have Bran with, with Ode Chazenai, I don't know. Broken Love with Black Box, Casket Grinder with Sepulchral Trip, Chugaboom with Death Pledge, Citadel with Decompose, Contra Cult with The New Torment, Sid Mind with The Descent, Dark Beauty with Between Sixes and Sevens, Dayseeker with Dark Sun, Deliverance with Neon Chaos in a Junk Sick Dawn. We have Demona with Dirty Speed Metal. That could have some potential. Denial of Death with a Failed Exorcism. Devin Townsend with Light Work. Something from Devin Townsend. Disillusion with I Am. Dragon Hammer with Second Life. Eco Lot with Curatio. Edge of Haze with The Convoy of Ruin. Epidermal Veil with Psalms of the Flayed. Evolution with Elements of Genocide. Evrock with Evrock 1. Exordium Morse with As Legends Fade and Gods Die. False Figure with Castigations. Fleshwater with We're Not Here to Be Loved. Fleege with One Day They'll Wonder What Happened Here. Foul Body Autopsy with Shadows Without Light Part 3. Frank Bello with Then I'm Gone, that is an EP. Funeral Harvest with Redemptio. Fuzznaut with Epophenia. Gorgatron with Agony Reborn, that is an EP. We have Gorich with Kamieni. The Grand Mall with 2. Grip with Structure, that is an EP. We have Helsingland Underground with Endless Optimism. We have Helvelin with The Lore of the Cloaked Assembly. We have Haukago Grindline with Haukago Grind Time 2, the second raid. We have Ifernet with Silences. We have Impugner with Advent of the Wretched. That's an EP. We have Ingested with Ashes Lie Still. Insonica with Pythos. We have Iron Flesh with Limb After Limb. Iron Kingdom of Creation. Legions of the Night with Hell. We have Licht des Urteils with Uramo. I think that's German, so you guys will have to forgive me there. We have Lokira with Distorted Truth. Mamek with Rust. We have Mandragora Thuringia with Rex Silverum. The Moon City Masters with The Famous City. Mord Astigmata like Ants and Snakes. Ninth Realm with A Fate Unbroken. The Offering with Seeing the Elephant. We have Os with Tehom. Osiron with Momentous. Oxytocin with Don't Lose Your Head. Pale Spectre with Bereft with Xerotic Layers. Pitch Black Mentality with World Final Wake. Pit Lord with Gallery of Skewered Swine. The Pretty Reckless with Other Worlds. Rambo with Defy Extinction. We have Red Rainer with Eater. Rogue Half with The Middle Distance, that's an EP. Ross Harding with Chapter 2, that's an EP. Sarkader with Alcahest. Slowly with Daisy Chain. Sun Cezanne with Emerge. Sorrow in the Spire with a self-titled EP. Stranger Vision with Wasteland. Strychnos with A Mother's Curse. Suborbital with Planetary Disruption. The Sunrise with Rising Loop. Taipei Houston with Once Bit, Never Bored. Time to Kill with SBAH. Taiwanaku with Earth Base 1. Tough on Fridays with the encore you didn't ask for. Tube Freaks with Unhinged. Vacuous Depths with Corporal Humiliation. Various Artists, Brown Acid, The 15th Trip. VHS with Deep Gashes and Long Lashes. Vile Cynic with Children of Lilith, that's an EP. Vile Species with Against the Values of Civilization. We have Vitskar Suden with The Faceless King, Voidbringer with Wasteland, that's an EP. Voivod with Ultraman, that is an EP. Warlung with Vulture's Paradise. We Are to Blame with Duality. White Abbey with Volume 2. White Mare with Isle of Bliss. White Skies with Black Tide. Wolf Cross with From the North. Worshipper with To Binge and Purge in LA, that is a re-release. We have Wormwoods with No Sun Nor Moon, and I'm gonna have to show you guys this one because it's in a language I have never fucking seen before. We have Eiffel 1710, and then that word that starts with a Z, whatever the hell that's supposed to be, that is the name of the album. So your guess is as good as mine what language that is. So if anyone knows what language that is, hey, there you go. So yeah, like I say, still quite a list.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah.
They've always been bigger since we switched over to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Heavy Metal HQ, man. I mean, I know we've shouted them out before, but man, you talk about the most comprehensive source we have found so far for the weekly new releases for all of our heavy metal albums. So I mean, definitely another warranted shout out to those guys. But yeah, that's everything for November 4th.
All right. Well, I guess that'll put a bow on this week, and just so we are. I don't want to give a lot away because I don't have anything concrete. But next week we may be talking to a band. We don't know for sure yet because we haven't got confirmation. But last I heard was November 5th. But I don't want to give anything away. Oh,
there I am. There I am.
But
I thought my Wi-Fi was about to die right at the end of the show there. So.
Oh wow. Yeah. I was just saying I don't know for sure yet, but we may be having a guest on next week, so just stay tuned for that. So if you show up and we got a guest, then you'll be surprised as we are. So
right, yeah. Who knows? They may beat us here. I don't know.
Yeah, they might. Yeah. So, but I'm going to touch base first of the week with them to make sure everything is still on, and if so, then I would definitely start promoting that through the groups and everything. So if you want to keep a lookout for that, and on all of our socials. But yeah, so supposedly we have something set up, but I don't want to know for sure until we know for sure. So.
Right, but we are trending that way to having a guest next week. So once we know for sure, we'll provide more details and we'll let you guys know what band it's looking like being. So, but before we go, just want to mention that the GoFundMe is still active. There is the link up on the screen if you want to go to Metalhead. If you want to go to GoFundMe and search for Metalheads Unite, you'll find us there. And I know what I just reminded Jason of.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let
because I'm a bad person.
So like as soon as he saw the link, I was like, oh shit. So yeah, but I'll let him go ahead and do that. But just want to remind everybody that you aside from the fundraiser, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Like I say, we've got the group on Facebook. All of the socials right now, we all have the same little thumbnail. That way you'll know it's us. So you can follow us at Twitter, on Instagram. Any new members who would like to join can join us at the Facebook group over there. Let's see, and what do we have here? This is
that's weekly playlist there. So
there's the weekly playlist, and you know what? That's actually not what I thought I reminded you of.
It's coming.
Oh, okay. All right, so it's coming. So I'm not gonna.
You reminded me of a bunch of shit. So.
Okay, I'm not trying to steal his thunder. So that was the weekly playlist. Which one's this one? Is this last week's top 10?
That's Spirits.
Okay, there's the top 10 from last week. And as always, VOP USA Radio app. Our YouTube channel, Twitch, the VOP USA Twitch channel, and like I say, God knows how the names of some of these other platforms. We're going out to over 140 all over the world. So, so yeah, you guys can pretty much find us anywhere you want to find us, anytime you want to find us, which is nice. Metalheads Unite USA at Mass Destruction Metal Fest in Atlanta is coming up next on November 5th. Oh yeah, so so we know where Victor's going to be next weekend. He's
Right?
going to be in Atlanta. So we will probably at the Loft in Atlanta. Okay, so we'll probably be sharing some of Victor's live stream from that concert, probably on the Metalheads Unite Facebook group. So any group members right there, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. We'll try to do that. And Jason started a Patreon for us, so we are also on Patreon now. There's the link for that. So yeah.
So not a lot going on there as of yet, but
right, because it's brand new.
But if once we start doing our merch and stuff, which we're talking about getting that together here pretty soon. So once we get the merch and stuff together, it'll all be over there to buy. Mm-hmm. So
yep. So yeah, just a heads up on the Patreon. It's only like 2 days old. So but it is up and running. So but yeah, so before we go, we just want to give thanks to everybody who came by and listened to the show today. We want to thank Victor as always. We want to thank William Savant as always. We want to thank Myrna for dropping in. Want to thank my daughter for saying hi. So what do we got, Victor? We got lineup for that festival. We got Deicide, Rave, Hyrax, Benediction.
Oh wow.
I don't know what the hell that one is.
T.S. Juder.
T.S. Juder. And then he says, and many more, which absolutely there's gonna be plenty. So if you guys are in that area around Atlanta, or if you don't mind driving a little ways like us, go check that festival out. So it's in Atlanta.
And not to be the kiss ass of the co-host, but the boss was in here as well today too. So
yes, he was. He's always, he is always lurking. Dan is always lurking.
Yeah.
So he is. Dan is definitely our big brother. We know he's always watching. We know he's always listening. So, but Dan is also a very busy man. So he doesn't always chime in. But it's always nice when he does. And Myrna, yes, you have an awesome weekend too.
He actually kind of surprised me chiming in today. I was like, oh wow, there's Dan. So
yeah, but it's always good to hear from Dan, and always good to hear from everybody. We appreciate everybody who comes and interacts with us. We appreciate all you guys. And we had a few new members. We had a few new members in the Facebook group this week. So we're over 450 now. So we're moving right along. So thank you to everybody who joined the group this week. We appreciate everybody. We appreciate all of our fans.
Yeah,
all of our fans all over the world, which is still a weird and very humbling thing to say, but
yeah. Oh man, so
doesn't make it any less true that we appreciate everybody.
That is true. That is true. So, all right, guys, like I said, big things cooking. So hang with us to learn all about what's going on. And then, like I said, merch stuff is coming. Trust me, it is coming. And what else was I going to say? Oh, and like I said, follow us on all of our outlets there. Like I said, now we're on Patreon. So we got Patreon, we got TikTok, we got Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. YouTube, Twitch, all the places. So
we still don't.
And a lot we don't know. So
way more that we don't know. Yeah. And that's the funny thing is we don't even have like a show specific Twitch yet. We're still going off the VOP one, which is totally fine. That's absolutely fine. Yeah. But we do have a slowly ever expanding network of our own show specific platforms though. So so that's good. So you guys can check us out there. We're getting a lot easier to find, which is nice. So.
Yeah. And like I said, we're going to try to make it even more easier in 2023. So
absolutely, we do plan on being around a lot more in 23. So we're looking forward to that. We hope you guys are too.
Some good things shaping up. kind of a podcast type Comic Con, I guess you could say, is coming, and
Yeah.
had a couple of offers about maybe joining on a tour or two. So hopefully some of that may pan out too. We'll see. So
Yep.
like I said, funding is a big portion of that. So we got to do what we can to get some funds together for that. So all right. So with that being said, like I said, next week tune in. May have a guest. So don't want to miss that. So.
But even if we don't have a guest, you don't want to miss us. You don't want to miss these faces.
Tune in for the tune in for the accent.
That's right.
You don't get cornbread every day. So
that's right. Yep. Yeah. Tune in for the accent and stay if we have a guest. You know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap this bad boy up this week because we're at the 3-hour mark already now.
Yeah, we are.
So anyway, glad all of you stopped by. Thank you for the interaction in the chats, everybody. And so hopefully we will see you right back here next week. Until then, you can keep those devil horns held high and jump in that pit anytime you can. See you next week.
Have a great week, guys. Thank you.